Hallelujah. Shabbat shalom alaikum, mishpaka. Y'all climb on in. All praises. All praises. What we're going over today is the growth and development of the so-called Negro child. Y'all climb on in. We got a lot to discuss today. A whole lot to reconsider and actually to think about. And a whole lot to write down and really, really study. We finna actually get into the psychology of a child and how to truly develop a child according to the scripture, not according to the European concept and culture. So y'all climb on in. Shalom, shalom. If y'all can hear me good, make sure y'all type in some nines. If y'all can hear me, type in some nines. Shabbat shalom, my brother.
Shalom, my brother.
If y'all can hear me, type in some nines, and let's get this started. Turn all this off. All praises. Let me see. Can y'all hear me? Let me see if I can hear myself. Can y'all hear me? Okay, I hear myself. All right, all praises. All praises. So what we must do, we street teach Thursday, and the whole concept, the actual name of the street teaching was taking back or restoring the masculinity of the so-called Negro. And the main thing we kept saying down there is that the so-called black man and black woman truly, truly must shed and cleanse himself of European concepts, of European constructs, of European building, of European culture, of European programs. We truly have to take our mindset back and apply the culture that was given to us in the blueprint of what we call the Bible. So that's what we're talking about. So inside of this blueprint, we have what we need to do to actually develop our children. Even though that we're in the truth, and even though that we're bringing them to feast days and we're installing certain things in them, we still missing a lot of their stages of growth development because we're not fully moving and living and walking in Torah. What I mean by that is, and I'm not saying these things can happen overnight, but we must start applying these principles. We need to start doing our own forming. That completely changes the mind of the psychological standpoint of a child when they see their parents forming and growing their own food. You see what I'm saying? We need to have our own land. That completely changed the psychological standpoint of a child when a child know that the property he's walking on belongs to him. You see, so even though that we're teaching them the commandments of Yahweh, even though that they're coming to feast days and we teaching them how to follow the Torah mindset wise, we need to be teaching them the same thing physically wise, meaning we need to show them ownership. We need to teach them entrepreneurship. We need to teach them longevity. We need to teach them healing, health. We're not doing all of these things. And so since we're not doing all of these things, or we're not applying the scripture 100%, we still leave room for the adversary, and we still leave room for the European mindset and concept and culture to attack our children. And then we wonder why they act the way they act. And why they not quite just like us. That's because they have two fathers at this time. The father on high, which is Yahweh, and the father of liars, which is Hashatan. So we have to fully adopt them and bring them into the culture fully, y'all, fully. So that's what we're going to talk about. Let me turn this mic on real quick, too. Can I get it over here? Okay. Hallelujah. All praises. All right. All right, we finna go and pray on in. We finna get to this. We got some videos to show y'all, and we're going to really get into this concept because a lot of people truly don't talk about this. And what I mean, they don't. A lot of people talk about rearing up a child, but what is it to really rear up a child? We have to actually talk about that. What does that mean? And then we actually think that intellectual properties and that the intellectual development of the child actually start coming in once he leaves the womb. But intellectual properties and this intellectual intelligence actually starts in the womb of the mother in the belly. And when you go to certain scripture, the scripture actually tells you that. So we see a lot of these Europeans coming out with these new articles and this new knowledge like they just discovered it. But if you go back to our culture and go back to our blueprint, which is the Bible, it's been talking about this for thousands and thousands of years. All right, so we're finna pray on in and then we're gonna get it started. Again, this is called growth and development of the so-called Negro child. Or you truly raising your children right. Then we wonder why they behind. We wonder why they're not growing right. We wonder why they're not developing right. And half the time it was because of the environment of the mother while she was pregnant. The environment of the mother while she was pregnant is a chemical change. So we have to realize that when we go throughout society and we go throughout our environment, we experience our environment through chemical processes through our glandular highway, through your glances. Well, this chemical process actually takes hold of the baby because the baby is truly eating what the mother eat when the mother is pregnant. The baby is drinking what the mother drink when the mother is pregnant. The baby is listening to the music, the vibrations. Say she got a husband at home that's not loving her correctly or beating on her. The baby taking all of those because we can only experience through reality through a chemical processes through our glandular highway. And these same chemicals or becomes the food and the nutrition for the baby. So the baby is truly learning and gathering his intellect and his culture while he's in the womb. That's why when we go to the book of Jeremiah, it says that I anointed you in your mother's womb. You see what I'm saying? And we're going to go through all these scriptures and we finna see what Yahweh say about it. And it's funny that these Europeans or the European scientists are now catching up with what the scripture been telling us for over eons. So let's pray on in and let's get to it. And then a lot of people finna be hit by this. Even I was hit by it. It's just really time to take back our culture and rear and raise our children the correct way. If you giving your children the 10 commandments and you teaching them how to read the Bible, they keeping Shabbat day and they keeping feast days, I'm here to tell you that is not good enough. It's not. It's supposed to be way more to that. It's way more to that because guess what? Back in the biblical days, the children knew who they were. Back in the biblical days, the children wore the clothes and the culture that they were supposed to wear. Back in the biblical days, the children was taught by the mothers at home. So we are missing a lot of these cultural aspects. And if you're missing one of them, this allow room for Satan to creep in unaware, and to attack our children. And that's the reason why they're in the position we are now. And we sit back and we wonder why things are wrong with them. We're like, Wayne, why this little girl can't get it together? Why is this young brother so lustful? And why every time I catch him, he masturbating, he watching pornography? Why every time I catch her, she in her phone doing things that she not supposed to be doing? Why is this baby always beating up on this baby and pinching this baby? Why is these babies acting evil? Where did they learn this from? And what we're going to learn today is generational curses is real. And these things are passed down to intellectual intelligence by way of the environment that the mother was in when she conceived the baby in the first place. That's why the mother have to be ready and the father have to be ready before they cleave onto each other and have children. Because whatever sins that we into, whatever's on our intellect, these things are passed down through chemical processes to our children. Hence being a product of their environment. And we always say we a product of my environment. We really don't be talking about the neighborhoods we growing up in. We talking about the household first. Your environment is the household that the children in. Then once he grow up and he leave the house, now he can say that's his environment. So what's going on with our children psychologically, going on with them physically, all of this is a byproduct of the mother and father. And we're going to read this through scripture, and it's going to show you how to improve that and how to truly, truly heal them mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and physically. That way they can go on and go forth into this world and then actually fulfill the commandment, which is going forth, being fruitful, and multiplying. But you ain't supposed to be multiplying if your psychological process is not ready yet, because you're going to pass these adolescents, you're going to pass this immature spirit down to your children. See that? And y'all heard that them children bad as hell. Well, where did they learn it from? Exactly. Where did they learn it from? Huh? They either at school or they at home with you. Huh? They ain't supposed to be in these schools anyway. So let's get to it. Let's go pray on in. We're going to get it.
Yeah, yeah.
Hallelujah, hallelujah.
All praise, glory, and honor.
All praise.
To the Most High, let's get it done.
All praise.
Prayer activation when you're done.
I bet. Yabareka Yahweh Veis Merika Yahweh Yahweh Puna Elika Tikuneka Yesa Yahweh Puna Elika They are same Shalom. They are same Shalom. Yabareka Yahweh Veis Merika Yahweh Yahweh Puna
Elika Bikuneka Yesa Yahweh Pana Elika they are saying Shalom. They are saying Shalom. Amen. Hallelujah. 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 May the Most High bless you, and may the Most High keep you, and He shall shine His face upon you. He will bless you, and He will keep you, and He will give you peace. Amen. Hallelujah.
Heavenly Father, we come to you in the name of your only begotten beloved Son, Hamashiach Yahushua. Yahweh El Elyon, we come to you in the name of Adon Yahushua Mashiach. We take authority over Satan and all his evil spirits from our position at the right hand of you, Yahweh, seated above every name that is named, in the power and the authority of Adon Yahushua Mashiach. Use us as your battle axe and weapons of war to come against and attack, to break the back and bind the strong man powerless over every heathen nation, that is oppressing the 12 tribes of Israel this very second. We cast them down and we cast them out to a herd of swine in the authority, in the name of Adon, the Master, Yahushua Mashiach, and by his mighty and precious blood. We pray, use us as your battle axe and weapons of war. We loosen all your ministering angels of warfare. Send forth your most militant and elite angelic warriors to break the backs and crack the skulls of every ruler of darkness. To break the backs and crack the skulls of every principality over all the worldwide organizations, such as the 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati, the Rothschild bloodline, the Astor bloodline, the Bundy bloodline, the Collins bloodline, the DuPont bloodline, the Freeman bloodline, the Kennedy bloodline, the Lee bloodline, the Onassis bloodline, the Rockefeller bloodline, the Russell bloodline, the Van Gunn bloodline, and the Merovingian bloodline, the House of Saud over Saudi Arabia, that bloodline, the House of Windsor, the Popes, Jared Kushner, Henry Kissinger, Robert Gallo, Ayatollah Khomeini, Bill and Melinda Gates, Anthony Fauci, all their bloodlines. We bind all of them powerless. We bind the strong man over all Masonic orders in every religion, the Catholic Church, the Vatican City, communist empires and Yahweh's governments, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, the CIA, MS-13, La Cosa Nostra, the Mafia, Hamas and Boko Haram, every street gang and drug cartel, the Illuminati, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the World Council of Churches, the Americas, every common market nation, Canada and Mexico, every organization that has rituals that are contrary to the word of Yahweh, in the authority, in the name of Yahushua Mashiach. We take authority over all foul and evil spirits, authorities, princes, kings, powers, world rulers, and the highest and mightiest servants of Satan. We bind them to be powerless. We bind them to be powerless in the mighty name of Adon, the Master, Yahushua Mashiach. Yahweh, in the authority of Adon, Yahushua the Messiah, we pronounce the judgments written in the scriptures upon these evil and greedy conspirators in and over these worldwide organizations. As it is written, Yah, we ask you to bring upon them the judgments found in Psalms 109, that chapter, Psalm 149, that chapter, and Revelation 18, that chapter. Yahweh El Elyon, the owner, the creator, and the possessor of all there is, in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, your eternal Son, we bring before your throne all the sick in Israel, all who may be plagued in mind, body, and spirit. Your word says whatever we bind on earth is bound in heaven, and whatever we loose on earth is loosed in heaven. We claim authority. We claim authority in Yahushua Mashiach, who is seated at your right hand right now. Right now. Right now. We loosen all your ministering angels of health. Command them to rain down a healing that is complete, a healing that is understood right now. right now, right now. Use us as your battle axe and weapons of war to come against an attack, to break the back and bind the strong man called the coronavirus and the fear of it that's plaguing the minds of your people. We declare it powerless. We cast it down and we cast it out to a herd of swine. Use us as your battle axe and weapons of war to come against an attack, to break the back and bind up every sickness. Bind up every sickness and disease that's afflicting your people this very second. We declare them all powerless. We cast them down and we cast them out to a herd of swine. In the authority of Yahushua HaMashiach, and by his mighty and precious blood, we pray and we declare war against Satan. Yahweh El Elyon, Yahweh Zebaoth, master of the heavenly armies, we loosen all your ministering angels of warfare. Command them to rain down and crack the skulls of the coronavirus, to rain down and crack the skulls of every sickness that's plaguing your people this very second. Command them to establish a protective border around your saints. Command them to come against, confound, and put down every sickness and unclean spirit that is in opposition to the way of being of your people. Command them to render a judgment in our favor right now. Right now, in the name and the authority of Yahushua, your eternal Son, and by his mighty and precious blood we pray. Yahweh El Elyon, Yahweh Yireh, we loosen your ministering angels of provision and blessings. Command them to shower us with the blessings of Abraham, your friend. Command the blessings of Deuteronomy 28 to chase us down and overtake us. Command Ruach HaKodesh to give us a continual overflow of your spirit. Command the fruits, the gifts, and signs of Ruach HaKodesh to chase us down and overtake us. That wherever the sole of our feet tread, we may boldly declare, the reign of Yahweh is now. The reign of Yahweh is now. The kingdom of heaven is now. Accept our prayer and accept our petition. In the name, in the authority of Yahushua HaMashiach, and by his mighty and precious blood, we pray and we declare war against the kingdom of darkness. Hallelujah! 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 Praise the mighty Yah. Yahoo! Shabbat shalom, family.
All praise.
All praise.
Hallelujah. All praise.
All right, so what we're talking about here today, we're talking about growth and development of the so-called Negro child. So there's many different ways we can start this out, but I want to start this out showing the woman and showing the growth and development and how she become pregnant and how all this intellect and how this intelligence is actually, the environment is broken down into chemicals and then it works its way. This is what feeds the fetus, and then the fetus becomes the infant, and then you get birth to the child. So I want to talk about the biological history of the so-called black man and black woman. And when I say biological history, everything that our ancestors went through, whether it was sin, whether it was being blessed, whether it was righteousness. I mean, truly, we're called the seeds of Israel because of something that Abraham did, right? Showing that the biological history have passed down through the blood of Abraham to us right now. And since we're in this point right now we actually have inheritance. So whatever you do while you're in this life, before you have your children and while you having the children, the mother and father play a very, very important role in the growth and development of that Negro child, period. And then when you get into the history, you get into our intellect, you get into our IQs. We are one of the most superior intellectual nations on planet Earth. But why are we failing in school? Maybe because them school systems are not designed to let us thrive. Maybe these school systems are designed to keep us in prison and keep us locked down. You see what I'm saying? Everything that's in the world actually work against the Negro child. He or she don't need you, mother and father, working against them either. They're already facing the world, already facing that. And you can't even turn on the TV without seeing some type of homosexual things going on with the children. They can't even watch cartoons no more without any type of demonic deformities being disguised and symbolized in the background. So we see that we're not the only people that are at a war here, black man and black woman, so-called black man and black woman. Our children are at war too, and we must train them up. Look, what are you training them to do? If you actually look at what's going on and you see the position that the Negroes are in today, the only intelligence, the only education, the only thing we're supposed to be putting and training in our children is to train them up for warfare, period. Whether it's psychological warfare, whether it's physical warfare, or whether it's spiritual warfare. We need to be teaching our children warfare. Now, to teach your children warfare, you must install discipline, meaning we have to be hard on our children. We're too passive with our children. We're friends with our children. We're not commanded to be that. We're commanded to lead. So before we actually get into this lesson, I want to dig into some Hebrew words, and we're going to look up what father, mother, and what child, daughter, and son mean, and then we're going to go from there. So from there, I'm going to share my screen with y'all, and we're finna get to it. Hey, please make sure y'all write this stuff down, because this is a very deep lesson we finna get into, y'all. We finna see the cultural structure that Yahweh put here on earth for us to truly rear and raise our seeds up in these days. All right, so let me share my screen with y'all. Sharing screen. Bang. All right, so what I was gonna do is I'm just finna go up in the let me know if y'all can see my screen. Let me turn my phone on. So what I want to do, Maccabee, I just want to type in. I want to go to the search bar, and I just want to type in. First, I want to type in mother. The first one that pop up, the first one we're going to catch, and we're going to read these definitions in Hebrew. All right. Yep, we're gonna pick that one up first. Let's go and crack that real quick. Now, write this down, family. So the first thing we write down is a mother. What is a mother according to the scripture? Not according to what the European concept of mother is. We have to come from up out of their bonds and their strengths and their definitions. We are limited whenever we are using the European definition. It actually limited our mindset. So let's see the Hebrew definition of a mother. Let's see what that says when you actually read the Hebrew definition of a mother. All right, so we're going into the book of Bereshit, Genesis, chapter 2, verse 24. We're gonna go straight to mother. I'm gonna play it out for y'all, and then Malachi gonna read through it. All right, I'm playing it for y'all now. Let me know if y'all can hear it.
Strong's H517. Aim.
So aim, or imai, and it's the Hebrew concordance H517. Now look, when we look this up, let's see how amazing this truly is, and then I want to get into the Hebrew and explain these Hebrew letters. And it's amazing how Yahweh conveys things and show you that these words are really a part of our DNA, and how your words literally molds and form your universe. So let's see what mother is according to our culture, not the European concept of what a mother is, not the Babylonian concept of what a mother is. Once we get away from their concepts and they definitions, and we get into our cultural definition of what a mother is, now you can truly start cultivating our seeds out here. Let's see what it say. What it say, Maccabee?
It says Ima, or it says aim or Ima. I left it mem. Outline of biblical usage. It says mother.
Right.
It says of humans. Of Deborah's relationship to the people.
And now look, once you get into the story of Deborah and how Deborah was big mama, it will blow your mind, because we're not even doing half the things as women that Deborah was doing. But we're gonna get into that later though. That might be in part 2, because we got a lot of stuff to discover in this first lesson. But we truly finna start picking out the cultural aspects of the scripture and applying them. Whenever you want to learn economics, you don't need to go to school to learn their banking first. Learn it from your culture first in the Bible. Look up the whole definition of the economy in the Bible and learn that. Then once you learn that, then take their classes. You see that? You want to learn mathematics. Look at the way Yahweh do mathematics. You want to learn about the day in agriculture. Learn that from your culture first, then get into their culture. And you will start seeing all their BSs and their lies and how everything they do was made to keep us oppressed and down. You should never in your life clap like a seal when you think that we done got something, or when they ended slavery. No, they never did. Or when they give y'all stuff like child support or welfare. All these things are to keep us suppressed. Whenever you see a European agreeing with a so-called black man, it's always a catch-22, because they will never go against their own culture and agenda. Only people on planet Earth that do that is us. And now we're growing our children up to be this exact same way. We're raising so-called coons. If you actually look up the definition of coon, it's actually not a bad person. But I'm going to use it in that definition because we can identify with that. So we're truly raising coons. We're raising people that hate our other brothers. We're raising people that have division amongst the camps. It's certain of us, we don't even hang around other people that don't even believe in the same belief that we agree in. These things that the European have taught us is actually being taught through the Hebrew culture now. And I'm not talking about nobody in the world. I'm talking about what's going on inside the so-called truth.
Yeah, that's powerful what you're saying. Look, even our great brother Malcolm X, when he was living, he was like, look, any divisions amongst so-called black folks need to be aired out in house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Any differences, you know what I'm saying? That should be aired out in house. Shabbat shalom, family.
Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom.
Out in house. You know what I'm saying? The European or your oppressor should never see you debating or, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Arguing amongst each other about your differences. You know what I'm saying? Because naturally you're going to have differences as a people. You know what I'm saying? Like we all different people, we all different levels of scripture. But Malcolm X actually said that.
Yes.
He said the any differences that the so-called black man has need to be aired out in house.
Yeah.
Not in front of not in front of your oppressor.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That actually shows a sign of weakness.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's very powerful.
Hallelujah. Now check this out. So the first one Malachi said was mother, then it was humans, then was of the boy's relationship with the people, which y'all need to read that on your own time when you truly get into the book of Judges. But we're gonna read that in the second lesson to show y'all an actual good example of a mother or of a big mom or of an auntie or of a grandma. All right, come on, brother. Come on, brother.
It says of animals. It says point of departure or division.
Now y'all see that point of departure or division, all right? Point of departure because you're leaving from her womb and then you have to separate from father and mother and then cleave on to your wife. All right, now let's read this Strong's definition.
Strong's definition, a primitive word. A mother as the bond of the family.
All right, so now y'all see that the mother is the bind of the family. When you look at bond, it's like glue. The mother is supposed to be the glue to her household, okay? So that's the first definition of Imah in the Hebrew cultural blueprint of what we call the scriptures. The mother is supposed to be the glue to the household. All right, come on.
It says, in a wide sense, both literally and figuratively, like father.
Ooh, what?
Like father.
So mother supposed to be like father. Come on.
It says damn, mother, or part.
All right, now look. Now this is going to be a thing. Let's actually blow this up, and we finna get into this actual letter here. So when you look up the word mother in the Hebrew, the first word you see, I'm going to highlight it here. The first word you see here is the Hebrew letter Aleph. Right? All right? You see the Hebrew letter Aleph. The Hebrew letter Aleph means strength, y'all. It means to be first, or it represents the ox, which means to be strong, strength. The second letter we see here is a mem, Sophia, or mem final. This mem actually represents water, the flow, all right? The where your nutrients come from. You see that? Where the washing, the purification come from, all right? Where your nutritional values come from. So if you actually look up the word mother, it's saying it's the strength of the nutrients of the house. Now, who do all the nurturing in the house, y'all? The mother, right? And it said it's the binding part. It keeps the family together. How do she keep the family together? Through being wise. When you go to Proverbs chapter 31, you see everything that the mother actually did for the household. She prepared the food. She got the food. She loved the children. She worked long nights. She got up at the crack of dawn. She kept her flame and it never went out by night. She clothed them. She bathed them. She fed them. So we see that the mother is truly, truly, truly the strength inside of the home. But the father is the strength of the home. All right, y'all get that? So the father is the strength of the home, but the mother is the strength inside the home that keeps the home together. The father builds the house, but the mother makes it the home. So without a mother inside of the household, there would not be a home. A Negro only got a house. And that's why it says that what? Man was not created to be alone. Make all the sense in the world. So my thing is that, or you the glue to your family, mother. Huh? Or is you a single mother with a lot of children and don't have no head?
You see that? And we have to really start sitting down and meditating on these things and see why are you in the position that you're in now. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm not going to say 9 times out of 10. I ain't going to do it justice. 10 times out of 10, your children are a mirror reflection to your lifestyle and your environment before you came in the truth and after you've been in the truth. All that haven't been washed and cleansed from their DNA. These are generations and generations of biological history that came down from your ancestors that you embedded inside of your DNA, and then you gave it to your children chemically. So this is an ongoing process, y'all, that we have to constantly be unlearning these European concepts and relearning our culture according to the scripture. So a mother is the glue to the household. The mother is actually the strength of the nutrients of the household too. That's what milk is. Milk means water. Water is in everything. Water makes up 88% of your body. Water makes up 98% of your brain. Without water, it's dehydration. You cannot live if you don't have water, because inside water is what? Oxygen and hydrogen. Hydrogen is Yahweh, pure fire. You see that? So she helps cultivate that in you. So that's how important a mother is. Now, once we start getting into the scriptures, y'all gonna see what we talking about here. So there's no such thing as a man without a woman or a woman without a man, because you ain't gonna have a child anyway. And one of the commandments was go forth, be fruitful, and multiply. All right, let's get
Y'all get to the Hebrew, every letter in Hebrew has like 7 definitions.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It really makes it a living language. Like if I ask any of y'all right now, what's the meaning of the letter U? What would you tell?
There is no meaning.
I tell my children, go to school and ask your teacher, what's the meaning of the letter T? And I ain't no meaning. You know what I'm saying? But the Hebrew language, actually, each letter has a definition.
Okay.
And that's what y'all keep just going over. You know what I'm saying? The left, like you got the phrase today, alphabet, right? That's Hebrew, alphabet. You know what I'm saying? That's what our language is called, the alphabet. So you got the aleph all the way down to the top.
Okay.
22 letters in the Hebrew language, right? Now, each one of those letters have a definition to it. So the aleph, mother is aleph mem, right? Aleph mean leader or first, strong one. Mem mean water. So your first water experience
is with your mother.
What happens when you about to give birth?
The water break.
The water breaks.
And guess what's inside of that water?
Yeah.
It's all, man, these fluids are
everything inside of it.
And it actually becomes your spinal fluid.
But it makes sense. It makes sense that the Most High, even the language that He inspired for us to speak. You know what I'm saying? Even if you didn't know, if you only knew the definition to each letter or character, you could understand the whole Hebrew dictionary.
Exactly. And you will see that the whole Hebrew alphabet is nothing but the construction of a family. Like Aleph is the head, right? You need a head. Bet is the house. Well, you have to have a head to build the home. You see that? Then you get into Gamel. Gamel is the camel or the ride. Well, you need the camel to go get your wood to build the house. You see what I'm saying? And then you get into hay. Hay means to behold or mean window. Every home need a window. Then you get to Dalet. Dalet is the door. Every home needs a door. You see what I'm saying? Then you get to Wav. That's the nail. You can't build a home without your nails. Then you get to Zion, which is the weapon. Well, you need to go eat and get some food to nourish you from all this hard work you just did from building the home, and it means protect. Then you get to Ket, which is defense. Well, you have to have a line of defense. That's the fence that go around the house. Man, when you truly get into this language, you will see that the Most High is all about family, but balancing the family, which means masculinity must go back to the men. Being feminine must stay with the women, with y'all creativity. And then both of them cultivated together is what makes a bang, or what you call a son. And in most sense, son and daughter is the same thing, y'all. You see what I'm saying? So that's the culture we need to start teaching back to the so-called Negroes, especially the lost ones, but first of all to us, because a lot of us are in this truth and we're not still applying the culture. Yes, we're keeping the commandments. Yes, we're keeping the feast days, which is part of the culture and tradition, but we're not diving deep into the message that Yahweh was trying to convey. This is the only way we're
the mindset of European concepts and of the Babylonian way. Period. Yeah.
All in the Bible.
All of it is in the Bible.
It's the Bible. All in the Bible. But it's your history is beyond powerful. The only language on planet Earth that even comes close to Hebrew is what you call chemistry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because like H2O, right? Well, we all know that's water. 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? There ain't another language on this earth, in existence that come close to Hebrew. You feel me? Because the Hebrew language, each letter has several definitions to it.
That's right.
If you knew the definitions and you start seeing the letters and you piece them together, you're like, wow. Like with father, we about to get the father, right?
Yep, we in the father right now.
A left bet. Bet mean house, a left mean leader. Who's the leader of the house?
The father. Let's get into it.
Abba, father.
Let's
You know
show
what I'm saying? Is that powerful? Like real tough, you know what I'm saying?
All right. So we see mother, which was Ima. That was Aleph and that was Mem. And that meant to be the bond or the glue. And it was the first one who cultivated the home or put nutrients in the home, because that's what water is. It's a nutrient factor. It gives you nutrients. It gives you oxygen. It gives you electrolytes, or what we call afar, minerals or dust. Okay, so we see that's what the mother role is to actually cultivate and be the nutrients for the children. All right, now we get into the word father, which is in the same exact verse, and it's Abba. This one is actually Aleph and Bet. Mally just told y'all what it is, but we're going to read the definitions and we're going to break this down. Then we're going to get into son, and we're going to get into daughter. Then we can begin the lesson, because once you realize the true definition of these things, this makes the Bible pop and you understand quickly. You ain't gotta sit and meditate on what he meant by that, because you know the biblical definition and your cultural definition of what a mother, father, son, and daughter is. You see what I'm saying? All right, what that say, Maccabee? Well, father, same verse. Yep.
Okay. 2:24. The father. Dang, got you. Actually, the first word in the Hebrew recording.
Yeah, Cain. Father. And then, say that again. Molly just said something real important. The first actual word in the Hebrew is father, because the first 2 letters, Aleph Bet, Ab, which means father.
Where you get your A and B from.
Yeah.
Aleph Bet.
Uh-huh.
So the first word in the Hebrew recordings, and how we know that, because it says H1.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? H is Hebrew, 1 is the number of the entry.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Sequential order. So you got Abba, all right, and it says outline of biblical usage, father of an individual.
Uh-huh.
Of the Most High is fatherless people.
And that's the reason why we truly going over this lesson, because not only you're finna learn how to rear and raise your seeds, but you are a seed of the Most High, and you'll know how to conduct yourself. Okay, come on.
It says the head or founder of a household.
Ooh, what it say?
Head or founder of a household.
So Ima, mother, was the bond of the family in the household. Right. But Abba is the head or the founder of the household. That's why Ima says liking to father. All right, come on.
It says a group, family, or clan.
Ooh.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
Ancestor. Ancestor.
Uh-huh.
Grandfather, forefathers. A person.
Uh-huh.
Of people. It says originator or patron of a class, profession, or art.
Ooh, come on.
Producer.
Of what?
A producer.
So a father is a producer.
That's right.
He produced seed. The woman cultivate the seed with her water, which let you know the left and the mem. It all makes sense. Come on.
It says generator,
Uh-huh.
figuratively, of benevolence.
Meaning that he's supposed to love his wife and his family, and what else, brother?
And protection.
He's supposed to protect his wife and his family, because he's the head of the household.
That's
Come on.
right. It says term of respect and honor.
Meaning that you're supposed to respect and honor this man because he is doing all these things. Come on.
Ruler.
Ruler means first.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
Or chief.
Chief means first as well. Let's get down to the strong definition, my brother.
Strong's definition, a primitive root father in a literal and immediate or figurative and remote application.
Ooh.
Wow. Chief.
See that? He's the first. Come on.
Forefather.
Uh-huh.
It says patrimony.
Uh-huh.
Principle.
Ooh, principle, first thing. Come on.
Compare names in IP.
All right, so that's what father is. Let me blow this up. I'm going to blow this word up. We're going to break this one down. Molly just did it, but we're going to show y'all while we're doing it. Now, when you blow this deal up, I'm going to highlight it for y'all. Now remember what this first word was. The first word was aleph. That represents the ox. That means first. That's one. Equivalent to one in Hebrew. That means ox. Ox is one of the strongest animals, so it means strength. The second word represents bet, or bayah, which is house. So father actually means the leader or the first leader, the strength of the house. Mother meant what? The binding agent or the glue to keep the house together. All right, so is you the strength of the house, or you providing, or you protecting? If you don't match none of these definitions, then by principle and by psychological processing, you are not a father. Anybody can bear seed, but or you raising these seeds up, right? Or you protecting these seeds, or you cultivating these seeds. You see what I'm saying? We need these things to actually have the right amount of growth and development inside of our children that's coming from our wives' womb. You see that? Notice I didn't say coming from a woman's womb, because a woman shouldn't be pregnant if she ain't got no husband. This is culture. Once you dive deep into this culture, the culture is going to change your whole perspective of the so-called Negro. I'm telling y'all. We're going to dive into it. All right, so we got that, right? Now let's look up. Let's go into son. We're going to look up son, then we're going to look up daughter, then we're going to start the lesson. I'm going to go back up to the board. I'm going to type in son. All right, the first thing that pop up. Hold on, did I type it in right? Let me do that again. Son. All right, where is it at? You see your first one to say son? Solomon popped up. Yeah, Genesis 4:17. Let's get it. Yeah, that's crazy. All right, the first one, Genesis 4:17, family. Write this stuff down, y'all. Genesis 4:17. Yeah, that's crazy. All right, let's look up this word son.
All right, the book of Genesis, Bereshit, chapter 4:17. And we're looking up the word for son.
Oh, let me get it real quick. It's right here. I will. All right, here it goes. Ben. Bane. Bane. Bane, my son. Yeah. So look, let's see what to look. Now, once we get into this, you're gonna see the purpose of children. All right, Most High do everything with a purpose, right? Why do we have children? What is the point of going forth, being fruitful and multiplying? What is the purpose of a son and a daughter? Let's see. And now you know what your son and your daughter are supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be truly, truly raising men to be husbands, a husband and a farmer, someone who plants seed, and you raise a daughter to be a wife. That is the sole purpose of what you're supposed to be teaching them. Now, through that, they will learn mathematics. They will learn agriculture. They will learn the educational things that they need to learn. But the first principle need to be learning them and teaching them their purpose and why they were created. They don't teach you that in school. They don't even ask you that in school. I've never heard, why were you created? I've never heard that in school whatsoever, y'all. You see what I'm saying? Because this is a European concept. But according to the culture, that question has to be asked. And your name was so important back then. Your name meant everything that you were about. We don't do none of that no more. You know what I'm saying? My government name is a white boy name. Straight up. Don't mean anything. Like, what do it even mean? You see what I'm saying? But back then they gave you names and it represented your characteristics. See, whenever you get inside of the Hebrew culture, everything is way deeper. It's a rabbit hole to everything. Whenever you get to European concepts, it's very, very shallow, and it's all meant to keep us suppressed and oppressed. Come on, brother.
Hey, the root word that we we went to the word for son. But if you click on the root word, the etymology, it comes from the word banah.
Yeah, we're gonna hit that next, bro. Yeah. I want you to read son first, then we're gonna click on it. Yeah.
All right, we got son right here, bang, right? It says son, children, old first, man, young, outline of biblical usage, son, grandson, child, member of a group, son, male child, grandson, children, male and female.
And the reason why I say that, because sometimes they say the sons of Israel, but it's talking about everybody, because the Bible in Hebrew is a masculine language. It's very masculine, but the definitions of the Hebrew is very feminine. So Hebrew is a masculine language, but it's so creative that it got a feminine aspect to it. That's why when you read certain things, it says masculine, or you look at certain nouns and verbs, it says feminine. All right, come on.
Youth, young men, young of animals, sons as characterization, i.e. sons of injustice, or unrighteous men, or sons of God, or angels, people of a nation, of lifeless things, sparks, stars, arrows, a member of a guild, order, class.
Now look, check out this strong definition of what a son is, y'all.
Strong's definition: a son as a builder, as a builder.
So the son purpose is to be a builder, but not only physically, y'all. Let's keep reading. A builder of what, brother?
A builder of the family name.
So the reason to have a son is to truly pass down your information and DNA. That's the whole purpose. So it's not even talking about building a building or a house. It's talking about passing down and building the family name, building the legacy, to pass on the word of Yahweh. That's the purpose of a son. That's the whole purpose, to be a builder of the family name. If you leave your son right now, can he represent you perfectly? Can he represent you? Or will he shame your name? Can you leave him to build your legacy, to pass on your information? But if you haven't been living right and been living in righteousness, how can you pass down that DNA that goes into testosterone, that goes inside of your intestines, of your testicles, to make semen, which is a chemical exchange of your environment, to have seeds? So if you have a son and he's not living up to what he's supposed to be, guess what? He's a byproduct of the information that was in you when you created him. How many of us making children off of alcohol, cocaine, weed smoke, Viagra, all types of stuff that we take before we get it on with our woman? How many of us have children like that out of these type of things? And then we wonder why they act the way they act, why they jittery, why they learning slow, why they progressing slow, why they got anger problems, why he got a problem doing this and doing that, why this baby got a problem doing this and doing that, because it's a product of your DNA that you didn't pass down. In order to raise a children in his growth and development to be right, to be perfect, you have to be right. You have to be striving for perfection. You have to be eating right. But we're going to read some things and show y'all that this was by design, y'all. Like we've been experimenting on, man. I'm telling you. That's why our babies are messed up. That's why we have murderous thoughts the way we have. That's why we killing each other down in the street. That's why half of us got HIV, STDs, AIDS, herpes, sickle cell anemia, diabetes, malaria, anemia. I mean, all of this stuff. Because we are being targeted, and then unhealthy black men are having unhealthy black seeds, which produces unhealthy black babies cultivated by an emotional, unbalanced woman. Imagine what that child is going to grow up to be. Dead or in jail, somewhere prostituting or hoeing. Because we haven't got it together yet. And you know the crazy part is? Almost everybody in here got children. We need to keep that in mindset before we start pelvis thrusting. Am I okay? Am I spiritually right? Because whatever I give to this woman, once that sperm connect to that egg and that ovary, and a fetus start being born from that, that's the DNA that's going to create this baby. And whatever environment we're in, these are going to be chemical processes to the woman, and these chemical processes break down to these glands, and that's what's going to feed the baby. You see that? And you can see it. Just look at these young children. I can look at a child right now and I can tell what the mother and father was going through. Right now. With all the knowledge I know now, and I can look at that baby and see where it's behind it, see the psychological things that's going on with the baby, and I can say, dang, okay, the mother and the father were together when they had this baby. Dang, this woman was verbally abused when she had this baby. This woman been on alcohol. Where y'all think y'all get the term crack baby from? We see that a chemical exchange from a woman while having a baby is a direct effect on the child when the child comes from the womb. That baby come out shivering, addictive, lungs be so underdeveloped, can't breathe. Half of them die off. Half of them got to be on incubators for at least a year before they even come home. And then it only don't mess with them physically. They psychological process be all jacked up. So we can't say that these things don't exist. Just as one instance, a crack baby. What about mixing races and having babies? There's a study done on mixed children. They call them mulattoes, and how most of them are susceptible to having all types of psychological disorders. Look this stuff up. just by mixing your DNA with another race. These things are real, and it's all types of scientific database on them. We need to think about these things while we're having children. Because look, the growth and development of the nations that's coming up behind us is very important, because these the children that's going to usher in the kingdom and the reign of Elohim. And if they're not cultivated and taught right, then how is that going to happen? Especially if you're looking for a church without spot or wrinkle. Where you think that's going to start at? Huh? I bet you our ancestors thought it was going to be us. Matthew 24, they thought Christ was coming back, didn't they? They thought he was coming right back. That's why they asked him, well, okay, tell us, give us a sign when you coming back then. Then 1,000 years later, under them, they thought Christ was coming back. Then you hear us, we think Christ's going to come back now. There might be another 100 years. So we got to make sure that the seeds that are coming from us already or righteous are built up in the culture, and it's completely voided of this European Babylonian concept and their sins. And I'm telling you, we got to. That's the reason for this lesson. Come on, bro.
It says a builder.
Uh-huh.
Right here it says a builder, as a builder of the family name,
Ooh.
the widest sense of literal and figurative relationship, including grandson,
Ooh.
subject, nation, quality or condition.
What they say? Quality or condition. Yeah. Because the quality and condition of the mindset is what's going to create that son. Come on.
It says like father or brother, etc. Afflicted, age, Aho, Aman, Hakman, Levite, anointed, one appointed to. Then it goes to Arrow, different Assyrian.
Yeah, it go all the way down, but we got what we needed to get. Yeah. So let's just blow up this and see what it means. All right, so when you look up bond, now remember it said builder, right? All right, let me highlight this real quick. All right, so the first word you see is the bet. Bet stands for house. All right, the second word you see is a noon sophe or a noon final. This represents fish or food. You see that? So a bond, which is a builder, actually means that a house that's provided for. Now, what did they used to do with their sons? They taught them how to hunt. They taught them how to build. They taught them how to go fishing. They taught them how to be providers. They taught them how to bring things back into the home. Because usually the inheritance or the house was left to who? The son. Or you teaching your children that? Can your sons actually self-sustain themselves? Or they learning how to garden? Or they learning how to use weapons? Or they learning how to protect? Because the son becomes the father, right? Because the son must leave father and mother and cleave onto his wife, and then they must go forth and be fruitful and multiply. Can he go to the lake and fish and get a fish if he wants to? Can he go inside of the woods and pick out some poison and rub it on his wounds in his children's room if he need to? Can he go pick out and see which grass or which things in the garden is good for him to eat, or if it won't kill him? Is he able to use a weapon? Can he build a home? Can he build a sukkot if we need to go on a run? These are what we need to be focusing on. Not no damn high school diplomas. High school, your diplomas and your degrees ain't finna keep you alive and get you in the kingdom of Yahweh. That's a Babylonian myth, y'all. We've been hoodwinked. That is a Babylonian European concept. We have to cleanse ourselves and rid ourselves of these things. That's what they need to be learning. So we see what that means. Remember, bet means house. Noon actually represents fish. So it's when the house is provided for, because that's what you're teaching your Bane. You're teaching him to build, and you're teaching him to go get food and bring it back home and feed the family, because he's going to be a father one day and be the strength and leader of the house, which will make him a father, and he's going to have Banes himself, and he's going to have to teach him. We're constantly reinventing and replacing ourselves with our DNA, constantly. No, I don't believe in reincarnation, but I do believe in incarnation. You see that? So whenever you give birth and you put your semen into a woman, they're giving birth to a miniature you. Y'all realize that, right? All right, we gotta be more careful with that. All right, the last one was daughter, and then we're gonna get started. Y'all get these definitions so far? That way, when we start reading these scriptures, y'all won't be like, what is Yaki talking about? All right, let's do daughter.
All right, daughter. Daughter.
Hold on, it just went out. Can't be loaded. Am I still on here though? I'm still on here. Hold on, brother. See if it let me. There you go. Okay, let me pop it up real quick. All right, daughter.
All right, daughter. It's age 13:23.
Let me get there if I can blow it up so they can see it. All right, Genesis 11:29. Bang. Click on that. Blow it up real quick. All right, let's get it.
Yeah, daughter. The Hebrew word is bath or box.
Y'all see that? Come on.
It actually comes from the word son.
Exactly. Just a feminine aspect of it. Now look.
Or builder.
Now check out. So the son is the builder, right? Now if the son is the builder, but bot come from son, then what will make the bot or the daughter? Hey, it's beautiful. You know what I'm saying? It is beautiful what makes a daughter. All right, let's read this, man.
All right, we got outline of biblical usage. Feminine noun, daughter,
Uh-huh.
daughter, girl, adopted daughter, daughter-in-law, sister, granddaughter, female child, cousin, as polite address, as designation of woman of a particular place, as personification. Daughter villages.
You see that? Now, if you actually get into the ancient Sumerian text in the Akkadian language, bot or daughter actually mean villages. Now, when you actually go up and you read the King James translation Strong's in the following matter, it says daughter is using as town, bot. Daughter is using as town 32 times. It's using as village 12 times. It's using as first 3 times, apple 1, the apple of my eye, branches, children, company, daughter, I-O. So daughter actually means village. Well, it takes a son to build, right? So you see the correlation of them? So a daughter makes up a village because in order to create a nation, you need what? You need women. All right, come on.
Thank the Most High.
Hallelujah, for real.
Description of character.
Oh, what?
A description of character. Young women. All
right, come on, brother.
Strong's definition, it says Bath from H1129 as a feminine of son, a daughter, used in the same wide sense as other terms of relationship, literally and figuratively, apple of the eye. You see that? Apple of the eye. That's the daughter. The son was the builder. He planted the seed, but that daughter grew up to be the tree, and that's the root. That's the fruit that came from it, the apple. Come on. Branch, company, daughter, first, old, owl, town. Billy. All right, now let's look up this. Let's actually break this word down. We'll get to the lesson. So I'm gonna highlight it for y'all. All right, so we actually seen that mother. I'm gonna start with father first because he was the first man. Father means leader of the house. Mother is the bond and the glue that keep the home together. She brings the nutrients to the household through her water, right? All right. Then when we went to son actually means to be the builder. He's supposed to take on and build and keep on his father's name. And he built villages, which brings the daughter, the bot, which actually means village, daughters, because you cannot birth a nation without the woman's womb. Now, when you actually get into the thing, remember, bet means house. So we got bet, which means house, bath, which means house. The last word is tav, which means covenant, or which means sign, or which means mark. All right. So this actually means when you get into the word of bath, it means the house that have the sign, the house that have the covenant. And the reason why is that because guess who doors we was knocking on as young men? And we coming with our diary. We was knocking on the father that had daughters, knocking on that house. That house was signed and marked. We seen the daughter in the field. She probably was doing a little herding. She probably was messing with the sheep or doing something like that. And we knocking on that door. Hey, what can I buy your daughter from you? Is she a young virgin too? What do I need to give for her? And then we entered into a what? A marriage covenant. This shows you that a woman or a daughter is created for marriage purposes, y'all. It's even embedded in her name. It's the house that holds the covenant. You see that? So the proposal, the man was going to the father.
Yeah, he going to the house that had the sign on.
He said, I got a proposition for
you.
Yeah. So he was proposing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But he was going to holler at the father to propose.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm interested in the daughter. Like we should still be doing today if she know her father.
Exactly.
Or if she don't know her father, whatever. Like, who the next lead ranking male member in your family?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You chop it up. You know, too many times, especially this Babylonian culture, just y'all hook up.
Yeah, that's it.
You ain't even hollering at no men though. Like, hey, I need to announce my presence around here. Inquiring mind for the note. Yeah, but this first was young daughter right
Exactly.
Here. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, as men in the ancient world, you chop it up.
Yeah,
because the father got to sniff your spirit.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, no, please, you can't have my daughter. You know what I'm saying? You ain't established.
Yeah, because
too weak.
Because that because his seed could become a part of the father family. Yeah, he become grandpa. Remember, when we looked at the word Abba, grandpa was in there, right?
That's right.
So, hey, he like, hold on. Once you have a seed with my daughter, I become your father. He's taking on my name at this point too. That's why they ask you what your pedigree was. Notice anytime you get in the scripture and the man came into somebody's household, after they saluted the household, they ask, who are you? Who is your father? Who is your mother? What tribe you come from? And look, the last thing they asked was, what is your character? When the last time you did that to somebody to prove a friend, or did that to a woman to actually get to know her, to see she could be crazy as a lizard, a road lizard, huh? Straight up. Do you want to have a seed cultivated by that? Because them chemicals that makes her emotions, which is energy and motions, produce that baby. We got to really start thinking about this before we lay down with these women. Women, y'all really need to start thinking about that before you agree and enter into a courtship with these men. Because all these psychological chemicals and process produces the seed. It starts in the womb first. Intellectual intelligence starts in the womb. A baby do not start learning once you give birth to him and he's in the environment. That baby learns from the chemicals that the mother is producing while he's in the womb. That means that mother supposed to be getting loved on by her husband while she's pregnant. She supposed to be eating the best of foods. We supposed to be, the village need to make sure she's the least stressed, because them adrenals going to be releasing all them adrenochromes into the baby. You see what I'm saying? So that's why it takes a village, straight up. That's why it's the sister that's pregnant need her sisters around to make sure that she's emotionally stable. Need her husband around to make sure that her feet is kicked up. Make sure that he's being as easy and gentle as possible with this baby, because whatever she experienced in her environment, these turn into chemical processes, and then she feeds the baby with it. Again, I go back to this: the crack baby, or babies that's been born out of alcoholism. Most of them are born blind. Most of them are born with pieces of their brain missing. Showing you that what you do while that baby is in you is a direct effect on the baby. All right, with that being said, let's get to this lesson. Let's start this off in the book of Malachi. Book of Malachi, chapter 4. Book of Malachi, chapter 4. Book of Malachi, chapter 4. We're going to start it at verse 4. Show you how important it is and how we truly supposed to be teaching our children. Again, this is called growth and development of the so-called Negro child. We need that. This is very, very important that they're growing and developing perfectly according to the culture that Yahweh have laid for us. That way we can truly be set free. And all of that starts in the womb of that mother. And we finna run through scripture. And look, the Bible say it. It's crazy. It's like, look, these white scientists coming out with this like they just discovered it. It's been in the scripture. In the Old Testament at that. This ain't nothing new, man. All right, let's get it, big bro. Well, you read Uriah. Let's get it, Uriah. I started verse. Let's start the deal at 4. Yeah, let me blow it up real quick for them. All right, Malachi 4. We're going to start at 4, y'all. Let's get it.
Malachi chapter 4, verse 4. Remember ye the law of Moses, the servant, which I commanded unto him in Horeb for all Israel, with the statutes and judgments.
Come on, brother.
Behold, I will send you Elijah, the prophet, before the coming of the great and dreadful day of the Lord.
Now check this out. Read this slow. Check out the jewels that Yahweh be dropping. Read that real slow.
Verse 6. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children.
You see that? Meaning that the fathers' hearts are not turned to the children at this time. And we see that in our culture today because we've been emotionally deprived and we don't have no type of emotion when it comes to our children. We're not even close to our children anymore. You see that? We've been so desensitized to our children. We can go months without seeing our baby and be cool with that. Huh? I'm finna be kicking in doors to get to mine. You see what I'm saying? We have lost that cultural aspect of our children, though. So it says, and he shall turn the heart is be mind,
of the fathers to the children. It says, in the heart of the children to their fathers. So we coming into a time where the culture is going to start bringing itself back together again, because the fathers are going to start looking out and be like, dang, I ain't been ish as a father. Straight up. I had to realize that a few years back into the truth. Me and Mally was having a long conversation about children. I ain't said at that time we was talking, but inside I was crying out. I'm like, man, I thought I was actually doing something because I pay a few bills or I give money to child support. But I ain't seen my daughter in almost 2 years. Even if her mama is keeping me away, that's not enough excuse. She was keeping me away from the daughter, but I used that as an excuse and why I was such a bad father. We supposed to be doing everything in our power to make sure that we're influencers in their life. Me and Molly had a conversation, and it hit me. I'm like, dang, I could do more. Then the witness was him. Remember that long comment about the children? I'm like, dang, I gotta do better. Since then, man, I done took the initiative. But you know what I'm saying? I was putting everything before my children and using that as an excuse. And then I started noticing things within them that I didn't like. And the first question was asked to me, well, what are you doing about it? Damn, I'm complaining, but I ain't doing nothing. See that? So in these times, and it's coming now, it says that he gonna turn our minds of the fathers back to the children. Come on, brother.
Verse 6 again. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children.
Come on.
And the heart of the children to their fathers.
See that? In the heart of the children back to the father. Come on.
Lest I come and smite the earth.
See that? Now look, this is how important that the father and children relationship is. He say if y'all don't get that together, children and fathers, he gonna come do what?
Smite the earth.
With a what?
A curse.
So do y'all see how much Yahweh and how important the culture of father and daughter and father and son relationship is? Because guess what? We're the leaders of the house. If the father is not in the house, do you realize how that makes the household? Do y'all? Yeah, I'm a byproduct of it, and I did the same thing through I got a lot of children. I did the same thing through a lot of my children, and now I'm finally trying to teach them this culture. But you see how I just keep recycling and keep recycling and keep recycling. You see that? How can we be fathers to the father? Listen, we don't need not a father our own households, huh? The growth and development stage of our children is out of whack, but we in the streets trying to teach growth and development to the young knuckleheads running around. You ain't even got your household together yet. The father is truly trying to restore masculinity back into the sons of Israel, y'all. And it's time for us to take the bull by the horns and get on the bandwagon. Straight up. Come on, read that one more time, brother.
Verse 6 again. And he shall turn the heart of the fathers to the children, and the heart of the children to their fathers.
Right.
Lest I come and smite the earth with a curse.
Ooh, all right, come on, let's move this over to Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 6, start that deal at 4. Let's see what Yahweh have to say about these things. One thing he wants us to be first is father of our household, priest of our household, prophet of our household, king of our household. Rearing our children up, being the prophet, bringing the word to our household, being the priest, meaning standing in the gap and praying for the household, cleansing your household. Last but not least, being the king of your household. Run it. You got full dominion over it because you got all the other steps in order. But the first thing is first is what? The father. That's your first purpose, rule, and role here on earth is being a father to your seeds, because that was Yahweh's first purpose. His first thing he did was created a son. And he created Christ Yahushua, and then he blessed him and gave him dominion, didn't he? Then he gave him everything that comes with it. His sole entire purpose was to his children, and still is to this very day. What is yours, though? What is ours? Honestly. Man, great responsibility. But hey, we up for the task, though, ain't we, big bro? We up for the task. Straight up. That's what it takes nowadays. All right, let's go to here. Deuteronomy 6. We're going to start this at 4 too. 4 through 7. Let me blow it up for them. Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Hebrew, what they call it, the credo.
Yeah, the credo.
Israel.
All right, let's get it.
Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4.
Uh-huh.
Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one.
Uh-huh.
One Lord. And thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might.
Come on, brother.
And these words which I command thee this day shall be in thy heart.
Now check this out. Come on now. Look,
This is what we're supposed to be doing to our children. All right, come on.
And thou shalt teach them diligently.
Just teach them whenever you feel like it.
Diligently.
Just because they getting on your nerves.
Diligently.
Dang, I got a young infant crawling around. I can't teach him and teach him and teach him at the same time. What do it say?
Teach them diligently.
Teach them diligently. Come on.
Unto thy children.
Unto thy children. Because if you don't, how is that young Bane or Bond going to become a builder and carry on the father's name? How is that young daughter going to be a bot and carry the covenant if she's not even reared up right? I ain't going to be knocking on your door trying to buy your daughter. You see that? It's very important that we start homeschooling them. Start homeschooling them with the mathematics according to the scripture. Start homing them with the history according to the scripture. Start homeschooling them with the cooking according to the scripture. Start giving them the nutritional guides according to the nutritional guides of the scripture. Huh? It shouldn't be no way that your children is in school, eat things they ain't supposed to be eating. They ain't supposed to be in school. They ain't supposed to be. Look, we have to snatch them from this European concept, construct, and teaching. Teach our own, raise our own, rear our own, clothe our own, cultivate our own. They do theirs like that, don't they? But we cry wolf when we get them lost to the system. We cry wolf.
Well, you sound like a revolutionary. You sound radical.
Hey, that's what it takes.
What the Bible teaches.
It's what the Bible straight teach. Come on, brother.
Verse 7 again. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children. You shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house.
Look, read that again and read it slow. Look, it says, and thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children, and shall talk of them. Come on.
When thou sittest in thine house.
When thou sittest in thy house. Meaning that you are in home with who? Your children. Doing what? Teaching them.
That's right.
It's straight painting a picture for you. Huh? Meaning that when you ain't at war, right? When you ain't warring in the streets, when you ain't coming in cultivating and waking up the minds of the black man and the so-called black woman out here, you supposed to be at home. And when you ain't teaching the congregation, you supposed to be at home with your children, rearing them up. Because remember, you are the head of what? The house. We forgot how to be fathers. We forgot how to be mothers. And our children is just very, very disobedient and have so many spirits on them. Spirits of lying, spirits of homosexuality, spirits of being perverts, all of these different spirits. And we thinking that they just picked it up from somewhere else. Right. No, these things are cultivated and passed down through DNA. It just finally expressed itself. And you thinking, where did he get it from? Well, Negro, wasn't you a liar before? Huh? Weren't you addicted to pornography before? Huh? And you wondering where they learning these moves from. Let them watch TV. Where did they get it from? Huh? It came through DNA. Deoxyribose nucleic acid. Do y'all realize what's endowed inside of that? Codes, genetic makeups, history, biological history, psychological history. These things are in the DNA of the so-called man and woman. And we come together and we make love and produce that seed. All of these things are going to be inside of that seed. And certain environments that you put the child in unlocks them. If you put it in an environment, a righteous environment, if that gene won't unlock. If you put that child in a wicked environment, every wicked thing that you have ever done and thought about is going to express through your children. Yeah, we talking about science here. The Bible backed us up. We finna read it. Watch.
Dang.
Yeah.
All that in the Bible.
All of that is in the Bible.
Dang.
Verse 7 again. And thou shalt teach them diligently unto thy children. And shalt talk of them when thou sittest in thine house. And when thou walkest by the way, and when thou layest down, and when thou risest up.
You see that? So he's saying that we are supposed to be that prime example. Our children should never catch us off guard. Ever. Every time I see us, they supposed to see a righteous example. Period. When we walk us by the way, when we lie us down, and when we rise us up. Hey, I ain't never seen Abba go off. I ain't never seen Ima raise her voice to my Abba. So I sure ain't finna raise my voice to my husband. Then we wonder where we get these loud mouth women from. All you gotta do is go meet their mothers, meet their aunties. They're products of their environment. You wonder where we get these lustful Negroes from. All you do is go go be around the Negroes they hang around, or go be around their fathers and their uncles. That's all they talk about is butt and vagina. You see what I'm saying? We have to change the narrative right now because our children's lives in our nation depends on it. Period. Malachi said something right. Sound like a revolution. Yes. That's what we need. That's what's actually going to bring the new kingdom and usher in the new kingdom. When we start adapting to this revolutionary mindset, we got to get it, and we got to get it fast. From there, let's go to Psalms. Let's go to the book of Psalms, chapter 127. We're going to read 1 through 5. Book of Psalms, chapter 127, 1 through 5. Y'all get some understanding so far?
Yeah, it makes sense.
I'll pray.
It makes sense, man. A lot of learned behavior. You know what I'm saying? And when we looking at the generation behind us, we be like, dang, they just so messed up and they jacked up. That's on us.
Yeah.
They learned it.
Say that again, big bro.
That's on us.
It's on us.
So, you know, when you be seeing the youth out there and they be in some type of feminine spirit, where we just saw the boy out here earlier.
Yeah.
Boy, come here.
Hey, so look, y'all, before y'all came, it was a little homosexual boy. They looking into the windows. You know what I'm saying? And I look at Mally, I'm like, that boy gay. I said, who? Looked at the window. I ran to the door. Mally came right behind me. So I went back in because I'm trying to get ready for class. Mally called. Mally like, hey, you. I guess Mally already knew he was gay. Like, you got a little girlfriend? Which one of these your girlfriends? And, go ahead, bro.
Now, look, one of your girlfriends or something? I've seen the feminine spirit on the little boy.
Yeah.
Pink sandals on and all type of stuff. You feel me? He said, no, that's my cousin.
Pink sandals on with some short black shorts on, like Daisy Dukes.
He said, no, that's my cousin. So you got you a girlfriend? He was like, no. His cousins, female cousins, started laughing. They like, no, but he got a man, a boyfriend, though. I said, you got a what? Checked him like his whole spirit was like. He said,
oh hell no, that shit off. Come here. The little boy went to the car. He said, I said, come here. The boy walked up with his head down. Look, Mally hit him with so many scriptures and hit him with the coaches so hard. The boy said, yes, sir, to Mally, right? At first, he was talking like a fag, right? That yes, sir sounded manly than a mug, boy. It did. Then he told him, he's like, look, that's off. The Most High coming to judge. Gays ain't making it to the kingdom of God. Get you a woman. There's nothing like the touch of a woman. Have you ever had a woman? And hey, look, dude, listen though. He straight. He was walking all gay up to the window. He walked back a straight man. I'm telling you, his walk, his talk, everything was different when he was leaving. Hey, hallelujah! But Mally had to get off into him though. Hey, he did. Hey, he did though.
Hey, I'm like, bro, ain't no faggots winning nothing out here. What's wrong with you?
He got it to him hard.
You did go get you a woman, get you a wife around her.
Yeah.
We ain't that can't slide on our watch.
Straight up.
We ain't just gonna look at you switch across the door.
No, you're not gonna be being comfortable being gay around.
No. You know what I'm saying? And if you're dealing with a spirit out and you are, come on back through it so we can lay hands.
That's what he told him. He's like, come back through it.
Because you know that's wrong, don't you? He said, yeah.
No, he said, yes, sir.
Yeah.
He said, yes, sir.
You know that's
wrong.
You
know that wrong, don't you? He said, yes, sir. He said, boy, his whole voice changed. At first it was, what y'all doing up in here? And that's what he asked. It went from that to, yes, sir. I'm like, dang, boy. That spirit left quick. He told him, whatever homosexual relationships you got, get rid of them right now.
You call all them little niggas.
Yeah, that's what he said. Tell him it's over tonight. Hey, for real, bro. Hey, straight up.
Back up here and holler at us so we can get that spirit off.
Because look, growth and development of our children, man, this is the number one important thing right now in Israel, man. And that was just one scenario that y'all ain't even know about. We just telling y'all about it. You're real witness, ain't you? Just hallelujah.
Look, as men, we can't be allowed wickedness on our watch.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? When you see it, call it out.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We don't know what joke. They walk past you with their pants and pull your pants up.
Pull them up.
I ain't never had a man look them in their face and roll on them like that, but they respect it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't be afraid of the youth, man. What's wrong with us?
Yeah.
These little niggas, look, these are sons. Like,
why we scared of y'all for?
You know what I'm saying? And if they jacked up, it's because we fell asleep on our watch.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. I can't blame you for that.
I ain't back.
You know what I'm saying? But look, you know now, you better get your act together now.
Straight up.
Playing with you.
Straight up.
That ain't allowed around her. True priest of the Lord is in the building.
Yeah.
And the crazy part is, when we open the door, he say, what's this up in here?
Yeah, he say, what's this up in here?
12 tribes of Israel Bible study was good.
Yeah. He walked away after that. And then that's when I guess Mally peeped that he was gay. He like, hold on, which one of these your girlfriend? And that's what brought him in. But hey, he got hit with that word so hard, his whole voice and he was switching, walking up. He was walking like he girded up his loins on the way back. Straight up, girded up your loins like a man. And he girded them loins up. So all praise to that. Let's get this book of Psalms, chapter 127. We're gonna read 1 through 5. Let's keep this going. Let's see.
The book of Psalm 127.
Yep.
The book of Psalm, chapter 127, verse 1. Except Yahweh build a house, they labor in vain that build it.
Ooh.
Except Yahweh keep the city, the watchman waiteth but in vain.
Come on, brother.
It is vain for you to rise up early, to sit up late, to eat the bread of sorrows. So he giveth his beloved sleep.
Ooh, come on.
Verse 3. Lo, children are an heritage.
You see that? So children are a heritage. Children are a gift. We don't act like that, though. We act like children are burdens. We act like he's getting on my nerves. She's getting on my nerves. That is a gift. That is a heritage. The Most High blessed your womb to give birth. Do you realize it was shameful to not be able to give birth as a woman, a young woman back in our day? They called that a curse. Oh, this woman must did something against God. She can't get pregnant. Am I lying, Maccabee?
Being barren.
Hey, straight up.
Pray to the Most High, please allow me to ask.
Yeah, because I have to give my man a gift. That's what separates me from any other one. I can give him a child. See that? So it says, lo, children are a heritage of Yahweh. Come on.
And the fruit of the womb.
See that? The fruit of the womb is his reward. So guess what my reward is as being a man of Yahweh? My wife able to bear my seed. That is my reward. And I can look out and see my children and say, the Most High is truly blessing me right now because I can pass down this DNA and this information to keep going forth. I would never die because I can live through my children forever. Period. Ain't Abraham still getting talked about till this very day? Till this very single day. Huh? That father of many nations. Look, this is the crazy part. Why didn't it say call him any other thing else? It calls him Abraham. For the first title was what? Father of many nations. Why didn't it call him son of many nations? Man of many nations. Brother of many nations. Huh? Notice that Ab is there. That Aleph, that Bet, the leader of the house. That's what needs to be in Israel. I don't know about y'all, but that is deep, man. I got my spine, boy, something creeping up my spine thinking about it. That's right. He got a whole bosom right now. You die, you go into his bosom if you go into the kingdom of Yahweh. That's how important fathers is. And that's why we started off with that Malachi chapter 4. And he said what? He said, I'm going to turn the heart's fathers back to the children and the children heart back to the father. And if y'all don't get it together, I'm going to come smite the earth with a curse. That's how much he needs his young fathers in the household because we cultivating the children up but they can receive him. That's deep, man. Let's keep reading.
Verse 4. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man.
Ooh, check this out. So it's arrows in the hand of a mighty man. Imagine a soldier at war with his AR-15. That's the best gift he ever had, right? He in the middle of a hostile environment and he got his AR and he got his side pistol on. He feeling like he in heaven, ain't he? So it says, as arrows are in the hand of a mighty man. Come on.
So are children.
Ooh.
So are children
Ooh.
of the youth.
See that? So are children of the youth. Because you have a chance to cultivate that sponge mind. You have the chance to put Yahweh into the traditions of the blueprint that they left, our forefathers left behind us, into them. See that? Children are a blessing. But we are making them accursed things when we're not giving them no justice, when we're showing them women that's emotionally imbalanced. We in front of the women arguing with the woman, or the woman is out of bounds and arguing and yelling at the man. Y'all don't think that these are downloaded into these children? And then we wonder why their relationships never cultivate and work out right. Because they're mimicking what they have grown up into. Because they are a product of their environment. Their environment is the household first, then it's outside the house. Because every time a child leave the house, she leave the house with who? The mother or the father. That's the children environment.
Y'all realize how important it is to be right for our children? Very, very, very important, y'all. Very important.
That's why if a man and woman, fight or argue with each other in front of the children, they should basically should come back and show repentance in front of the children.
I agree, brother. I'm gonna shake your hand on that. We went off in front of the children. Right. We're gonna repent and we're gonna hug and kiss in front of these children. That way they can see an example of reconciliation. I agree with that, brother. I agree with that, bro. I'm putting that in my book. That was deep. Hey, that's for real. Yeah, and don't come back together in front of them. They just see first we argue, now we on the couch chilling. So they think it's cool. They don't see nobody admitting their mistakes or they wrong. First we arguing, fighting. Next thing we know, we chilling and cooking. And so that's a normal environment. So they grow up, they think that stuff is normal. Straight up. Hey, boy, that's a good idea. Hey, that was a major idea. I like that, boy. Yeah, and it's teaching them responsibility and accountability. Most definitely, brother. Boy, this do sound revolutionary, don't it?
You gotta be careful what you expose your children.
I agree, brother.
You already, most of us, you ain't gonna just let your children watch whatever on TV.
Yeah.
Like, hell no, you can't watch that. You gotta go to the baby set on Netflix.
Yeah.
Hey, small space. The Incredibles 2 or something.
Yeah.
You can't be over here watching what I be watching.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So even with that, though, that makes sense. You know what I mean? Like, you gotta be careful on all, every avenue what you expose your children to.
That's right.
Include the beef when it happens, when the anger, when it settles up.
Yeah.
When it pipes up between you and your spouse. That makes
big
sense.
Facts. Yeah.
Psalm 127:5. Happy is the man. 3-4 again. As arrows are in the hand of a mighty man, so are children of the youth.
You see that, boy? Again, let's put the analogy there again. A soldier at war, and he behind enemy lines in a hostile environment, and he don't know where his pistol that he ran out of bullets. Can you imagine what he's going through? Now let's flip it. He behind enemy lines, and he have a 4 AR-15 with all types of magazines. He ready. It says, so is all the children of the youth. This is how important and how happy they supposed to bring us happiness. But in order for them to bring us happiness, we have to install that type of environment in their psychological processes. Because remember, the biological and psychological process is inherited and embedded in our DNA. They're literally a product of you and I. That's what our children is. That's why Malik keeps saying it's our fault. I'm not finna tell him that it's his fault. It's my fault. It's my fault. How you think I know to tell you to pull your pants up? Because somebody told me to pull mine up. I had to realize that was wrong. I was sagging like a mug in the truth. Man, pull your damn pants up. Like, man, I thought it was cool. It's what we do. You know what I'm saying? Now pull your pants up. Then I learned the history behind that stuff. And it's like, these are things that need to be taught to our children. You know what I'm saying? They had your pants down on the slave plantations for you couldn't run. You couldn't get away fast. Then this moved into the prison system when they broke you, and it come from breaking the buck. Pull your pants down. They took your virginity as a man and turned you into a homosexual, shattered your pride. Why the hell would you want to walk around representing that? These things happen to your ancestors. Again, this is part of your DNA. So by just a psychological process, we want to wear our pants below our butt. And you don't even know the meaning behind it. You just know to do it. Where do that come from? See that? We pass these curses down, y'all. We really do. Generational curses is real. People being born and shaping in iniquity is real. What do y'all think that means? The scientists are just now figuring this out. The Bible been saying it. That is crazy. Bible been saying this for thousands of years. Come on, big bro.
It's wild. It's a Jewish doctor. Her name is Dr. Rachel Yehuda. She got plenty of documentation on the anxiety and everything that goes on inside Jewish people because of what was passed down to them through the Holocaust.
That's through the Holocaust.
Now, look at what we the real Israelite. We'd have been, post-traumatic slave syndrome 2,000 years.
Yeah.
Let alone the 400 we've been heard, 500. So if her studies come back and show the direct link to anxiety and every other type of mental disorder dealing with the Jewish people,
boy.
You know what I'm saying, who are like 2 generations removed from the Holocaust side. Imagine Imagine the results if she would study us.
Ooh.
She don't even study us.
Ooh.
Her name is Dr. Rachel Yehuda.
I want to get into those scriptures now since you just brought that
just
up.
Look her up and it'll blow your mind. You got something?
I would be saying, like, telling people, like how they trying to start saying mental illness is real now. They trying to, they figuring it.
Yeah, the Europeans just now realizing it because they've been the one inflicting mental illness on us. We've been seeing it. Exactly.
Right.
Hey, so and look,
There's never been no type of therapy. You know what I'm saying? Like the heathens go through certain things, they'll sit right on the couch. You know what I'm saying? They'll send them, they can afford it. They send them to a psychiatrist. You know what I'm saying? Sit on the couch, tell me what your problems and all that.
Yeah.
You dealing with over 2,000 years of untreated psychological trauma.
Yeah.
Now let's go back to the fall of Jerusalem.
It does.
You know what I'm saying? Let alone the slave shores and what happened here in America. Y'all, since our temple was destroyed and we got ran up out of Jerusalem by them damn Romans.
Yeah.
You dealing with over 2,000 years of untreated psychological trauma. And when y'all keep saying it's powerful because I just gave y'all a doctor, y'all can go look up.
We can look up something now. I'm gonna show y'all a video.
And she actually got, I'm talking about straight studies on it.
Yeah.
And it's linking her people though to the psychological trauma 2 generations removed from the Holocaust.
And this is only 2 generations. It said it's gonna be to the 3rd and 4th generation. And look, if you go throughout this book, we see all counsels. Do not stand in the counsel of the what? Ungodly. We see the priest had counsels. If you go to Isaiah 3, we lost our counsel. We lost our mighty man. We lost our elegant speakers. We had these things. Why we don't have these now? Huh? That's why I'm so glad we did see that little sinful homosexual Mally got at him. But after he got at him, he built them up. If you need counseling, if you need to talk about some things, and you need us to put hands on you to drive them demons out, come on back here. You know what I'm saying? We don't see that no more. We see everybody counseling and talking about the things they went through, but we're not doing that to our young man. Hey, I need counsel sometime. I be having to call these 2 blind. Be having to call them sometime. So, of course, the young lost one in the street and your children gonna need it. Huh? You need, after a fight, which it ain't supposed to be that you have a fight in your household. Not only like Uriel was saying, we should come in before the children kiss and make up and admit what we went wrong at. We need to sit them down and counsel them over that. Because even though you think that was a light matter to y'all, that's not a light matter to them. That's fresh and new to their DNA. Straight up. They view the world totally different from how we view the world, y'all. They do. They looking at everything from their innocence, and we just shattering it, y'all. Shattering it. Getting them hip to stuff they ain't supposed to be hip to yet. Introducing them to railing languages and all types of stuff. I was thinking about that the other day. Like my children shouldn't even see me with no alcohol bottle. I don't even want them to know what that is. I don't even want them to be subjected to that right now. You shouldn't even know what that means. You know what I'm saying? They should never see that type. They shouldn't see me doing none of that because they need to stay pure as possible. That way they can download the culture better. Once we start putting in this European culture, it always comes in conflict with Yahweh culture. Now we wonder why they got learning disabilities. They battling. They're like the heathen just told me this. Now you telling me that.
No, turn around, boy.
You see what I'm saying? All right, let's read it. Did you read 5 yet?
I'm about to read 5. Yeah, I just posted Dr. Rachel Yehuda in the link, one of her videos on YouTube. It's like a 6-minute video. Study finds PTSD effects may linger in body chemistry of the next generation.
Woo.
About that, y'all, she get along with her people.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? It ain't even the fact, okay, let's address with the slaves. So again, what we're saying is very powerful because they got science out here to back up what he's saying.
We finna get into this book called The Miracle Child by Joseph Pierce. The Miracle Child by Joseph Pierce. We're going to get into some doctor articles too by Dr. Jensen. Hey, it gets deep, y'all. We finna show all this stuff. We finna show videos and all of that of the so-called Negro slave race being experimented on by these Europeans, breaking up the family, breaking up the household, keeping the father away from the household, all of that. For real, we're going to get into Jonathan Cohanes, which means priest, a Jewish boy that created the projects out of rats. Building up towers out of cardboard boxes in the laboratory and putting rats in them. Seen the experiment, and then David Rockefeller took the idea and said, let's build projects and do this same experiment. Come from the Rockefeller family, y'all. and said, let's make projects and put these in the hoods. Let's put these in certain cities inside of the whole U.S. Guess what the first city was? St. Louis, Missouri.
Well, our uncles in the world.
Yes.
I don't prove it.
We finna watch this.
Jefferson and K.
Look, before we get to that, matter of fact, let's watch that real quick. If y'all can, turn y'all phones on and tune into the lesson, but turn y'all values down. That way y'all can hear it from the computer. This stuff is deep. Yeah, it's on Honor Humility STL. Let's watch that real quick.
We grew like in school, they had you doing science projects and all that. That's all it is.
Yeah.
It's a science project.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? It's the construct of some heathen.
Yep.
They decided to say, you know what, we did this with rats, let's do it with the slaves.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Now check this out. This says, it says, based on the research of a behavioralist, John B. Carhanes, it says rat-controlled experiments. This is how they look at us, y'all. Like rats. Listen up, y'all. Rat-controlled experiments. America's racist history of stacking African Americans into overcrowded projects and deliberately forcing the father from the home, terminating in the, what's that word say, brother? Aerial. Yep. And terminating in the aerial, spraying all of its residents with vermin. Now, guess what was inside this vermin? Syphilis, SARS, HIV. Yes, herpes. A lot of us thinking that we got herpes from sex. They going around in damn mosquito trucks spraying it through the neighborhoods. This is documented proof, y'all. It says a Nazi genocidal program implemented to destroy the family. This is an experiment that destroyed families, y'all. Provoke crime. Look, it provoked crime and violence, and to dumb down the stifle their creative potential. You see that? That's why we don't have creative abilities no more. Through the psychological experiments that's been put on our people. It says rendering them a non-competitive, docile, and government-dependent population, all by design. Now look, we finna watch this thing. This will blow y'all mind what they did right here in St. Louis. They did it with Tuskegee in Alabama. They did it, man. They did this to so many people, y'all. But the first time they experimented on us as a large black population was right here in St. Louis, y'all. And y'all wonder why St. Louis, Atlanta, because they did one in Atlanta. I got all the documents on it. Notice that the STD rate is the highest where they did all these things at. The murder rate is the highest, and it's the homosexuality is on the rise. This was by design, y'all, to take away the masculinity of the black man, for they cannot raise their children upright. Because they know if we start digging back into our culture and history, that we taking back our freedom. And look, it's gonna be the end of Esau rule.
That's right. We're gonna stand up and have our business.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Chicago as well, though. Cabrini,
Yeah.
Cabrini Green.
Yeah, Chicago.
Famous project in Chicago. You know what I'm saying? But again, connect the murder rate, connect the STDs,
and the gang violence, all of that.
Now, it's been an experiment, ongoing experiment since you arrived on these shores.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And that's just what it is. The wild thing is the scripture tell you, if you go against me, I'm gonna send the beast of the field against you.
Man, he did. Hey, matter of fact, would you pull that scripture, bro? We're gonna need that right after we watch this. Matter of fact, you know you got the arsenal. Any scripture you got to solidify this after we watch this video, y'all finna get pissed off. Hey, have them scriptures ready, big bro. I'm finna press play. Stuff is deep, man. It take a while for it to kick in, for people can read what I just read to y'all. But it's finna kick in and this. Okay. Okay. Where's the microphone at on this deal too? I'll find it out.
It's like right up in her.
Okay. It's gonna pop in soon. Hold on, y'all. It says unmute.
Human experiment of the same vein was Pruitt-Igoe, an urban housing project consisting of 33 11-story apartment buildings on St. Louis's lower north side.
These developments are run by the St. Louis Housing Authority. This is a far cry from the crowded, collapsing tenements that many of these people have known. Here in bright new buildings with spacious grounds, they can live with indoor plumbing, electric lights, fresh plastered walls, and the rest of the convenience.
Start back.
These developments are run by the St. Louis Housing Authority.
So now y'all know who created this. It was created by the government, but it was issued through the St. Louis Housing Authority. At the same time they did this, they unleashed welfare and child support too, remember? Welfare and child support. And they was telling them that we stripping y'all from y'all child support and we stripping y'all from y'all welfare. So look, that's why the woman, that the whole plan was to make the woman feel like hierarchy and she was independent, to keep her at war with the black man. That was the whole. I see how it's implemented and worked till this day. Check this out.
This is a far cry from the crowded, collapsing tenements that many of these people have known. Here in bright new buildings with spacious grounds, they can live. Live with indoor plumbing, electric lights, fresh plastered walls, and the rest of the conveniences that are expected in the 20th century.
Our film is about the changing American city in the post-war years. And so it's filtered through what became a notorious public housing project in St. Louis. St. Louis changed quite a bit. Its population declined drastically. Deindustrialization, all the major factors that led to the decline of the post-war American city are present in Pruitt-Igoe.
Look at these projects, y'all. Y'all see that? Is y'all watching that? Look at these. Got us stacked on each other. Look, got us stacked on top of each other like straight rats, y'all. Look at this.
Pruitt-Igoe project in St. Louis is a casebook example.
And when many people discuss Pruitt-Igoe,
y'all see it in the background? Population control, public housing. That's what that is. Population control, public housing is what it was called in the background.
They often discuss it in terms of an architectural failure, as something that failed because of the style of architecture that it was built in. Architects have often discussed Pruitt-Igoe in this way to kind of create this sense of Pruitt-Igoe as this iconic place, as something that really can be identified with the modern movement. And so if this fails, then the modern movement of architecture failed as a whole.
Look at that, man. You know, they still got a lot of these high rises in New York right now. A lot of these projects still up in New York.
Played again and again.
I used to stay on one called Joe Steen Project in Illinois. They knocked it down. Yeah, rats and everything up in them there.
It was reprinted next to photos from earlier years and suggested a simple question. What caused the failure?
All right, so that's the question. What caused the failure of these projects? Now it's going to get deep into the history, bro. This is get deep.
Pruitt-Igoe myth begins here.
And so that's the initial myth, but we kind of broadened it in our analysis. And, you know, we're also talking about how public housing is often viewed as a failure because it is public housing, because it's federal housing. People tend to blame the government.
Y'all see that?
Or people tend to look at Pruitt-Igoe as a failure because of the residents. They say that the residents tore up this public housing project. And so these are the kind of like general myths that we're dealing with in the film, really trying to eliminate the scapegoats that have often plagued discussion of Pruitt-Igoe and public housing in general.
I know a lot of bad things came out of Pruitt-Igoe.
What she just say?
They did.
A lot of bad things came from about it. They was in there murdering each other, killing each other inside the projects. They look, y'all, they cut the water off at the bottom first 20 levels, and they let the ones at the top keep the water on. They cut the food supply off at the bottom 20 levels and let the ones at top keep their food. Do y'all know that the ones at the bottom turned crazy and started robbing and killing and raping the ones at the top? But Cohane did this through a rat experiment. He said, I noticed if you don't feed the ones at the bottom, the rats become violent. They gain a lot of weight. He said, I noticed that the women rat were only wanted for sex. He said, I noticed that some of the women rats, all they did was take care of they fur. They just wanted to look pretty. They didn't care about eating. All they wanted to look pretty to have sex. Ain't this what's going on right now? And not women are twerking on social media. Women are doing everything that they ain't supposed to be doing because we're being experimented on right now. he said the men became rageful. They became emotionalist. All they wanted to do was rob, steal, and take to eat to survive. And then the ones that was at the top that was on it, the ones that was giving government assistance, or these rats that was giving food to eat, all they was worried about was penises looking good. And man, it's crazy when you see these rats. The rats was real fat. They fur looked real good. That's the only thing they focus on. All they did was chew on their fur and get stuff off their fur and worried about their appearance. While the Negroes that was out in the street starving, they went up to the top door, they kicking in the other rat's door, robbing them, killing them. They violent. I mean, sex going around. There was all types of diseases going around in these rat colonies. Then they put the same thing in St. Louis, and the same exact thing happened to human beings, which is you and I. Experiment.
But I don't think they outweigh the good. I really don't.
We wanted to keep this story one about the experience in the projects themselves. And so from the residents' perspective is what we're really focusing on. You know, those are the stories that whenever you have this kind of iconic symbol, those tend to get lost. And so bringing those stories to screen and allowing and recording the residents speaking of those moments, it was really eye-opening to me.
Plenty of green grass, trees, shrubbery, and all the...
Move out,
12,000 people were originally...
Rather than relying on archival footage simply for its journalistic merits, you know, presenting artistic avenue for me.
When y'all get a chance, just watch the whole thing. It's kind of long.
I don't know
if
St. Louis is really...
on it, man, and then type in his name. His name is John B. Cohane. Man, this dude was an evil scientist, man. I'm telling you, this is all he did. It's called, I'm gonna tell you right now. Just type in, here we go. Just type in John B. Cohane. Now you want to know the name. Okay. It's called, just type in John B. Cohane Project Experiments with Rats. It'll pop up.
Housing Authority.
Post this one too.
This is a far cry from the crowded, collapsing tenements that many of these people have known. Here in...
Let me post this in a link real quick. Hold on, family. Getting back to y'all. Let me post this in a link. I'm posting in a link right now. Then we're gonna get back to the lesson. All right, I just posted that in the chat. All right, now from there, you hear the scripture, didn't you, brother?
Yeah, Deuteronomy 28. Deuteronomy 28. You know what I'm saying? And y'all, the consequences of us going against our maker. You know what I'm saying? If we're going, look, it's been running on automatic so long, we have to think this is living.
Yeah, it's not.
You know what I'm saying? But this is the reality that we live. You understand? But it's a reality, and it's a consequence because of our stiff-necked disobedience to our maker. Today, everybody look at it like it's innocent. Saying because the rules are standing up like, look, y'all gotta stop doing all that extra stuff like Easter and all that. That's to another God. You know what I'm saying? Christmas and Halloween, you gotta stop all that. You know what I'm saying? You gotta switch up how you eat. You gotta switch up how you worship and all that. It's all in the scripture what you're supposed to be doing. The problem is people got the book, but they're not getting their form of worship and service to the Almighty out the book.
That's right.
That's plantation Christianity, if you want to call it like that. It's not in the book though. You know what I'm saying? We offer people money every year.
Yeah.
You can find Christmas given by the God of the Bible. We can get $1,000.
Exactly.
A piece. Come on down here and get your money. Now ask me if I could prove Passover in the Bible. And offer me the same wage. All of us gonna go down there and collect.
That's right.
Because it's all through the Bible. What you mean?
Yeah.
You feel me? The problem is we turn our back on our maker. You'll say today, no, I love God. Right? But he says, if you love me, do what?
Keep my commands.
You got to keep this command. In other words, obey him. Do what you are commanded to do. The same way you do your children. You know what I'm saying? And we can enjoy the blessings of the Most High. But being that we dealing with stiff-necked ancestors that were rebellious, it was only a few of our ancestors that was righteous. The majority of our ancestors was wicked as hell. They rebelled against the Almighty. And we are in this condition now, reversing the curse.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You want to know the solution, you got to come back to the Most High. So Deuteronomy 28:15, right? When you read Deuteronomy 28:1, it says, and it shall come to pass, if you shall hearken diligently, that means listen, right, and do unto the voice of Yahweh Elohim God, your God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command you this day, that the Most High, your God, not everybody, God, your God, will set you on high above all the nations.
Hallelujah.
The benefit is beautiful. You know what I'm saying? You were created superior than everybody.
Yes, you were.
Now, once you know that today, it's just like, oh, that's racist. No, it's biblical.
And according to Dr. Jensen, with the records I sent Mally before I came here, it's gonna be in the next lesson because that's at the bottom of the page. But our bone density, our minerals, our memory, our intellect, according to the book The Miracle Child that was written by Joseph Pierce, that we're gonna get into too. It was babies in Kenya, Israelite babies in Kenya and in Ethiopia that was coming out of the womb, that knew how to walk coming out of the womb, knew their mother full name, knew their father full name, fully talking out of the room, coming out of the womb. Look, you think this is some crazy stuff, right? It's actually documented. They actually got this stuff recorded. Yes, and guess who the paper in the book is by? It's not by anybody black. It's about white people that mind was blown on what was happening when they was in Africa actually doing studies on Israelite children. The brainwave pattern, showing how the Europeans actually think with the left side of their brain. They're logical and they more susceptible to logic and reason, and how we are just we straight right-sided brain people. We're creative. We're very spiritual and tuned, and we got rhythm, and it just got down to it. And then these babies was coming out, knew their mother's name, knew their father's name, knew their mother's and father's voice, walking. It said by the fourth day, there was no signs of adrenochrome in their body. Adrenochrome is what the kidneys produce by children due to birth and labor and stress. Whenever the body gets stressed out, the adrenals release steroids. It's called adrenochrome. It's what the elite or these reptilians want to drink out of our bodies now. And that's why all the pedophilia and them kidnapping children and stuff like that, these children are missing because they drinking the blood to drink that adrenochrome. The fourth day of the baby being out of the womb, there was no more signs of that. If you have the average African-American baby right now, adrenochrome stay up into their system up to a year old. To a year old now. This wasn't even present in these babies after 4 days. Man, I was reading this stuff, blew my mind, man. All of it's documented too, all of it.
It makes sense, but see, it sounds wild, right? But if you read to the second book of Enoch, chapter 69 through 71, there was a child born to Noah's brother, Ner, before the flood. His name was Melchizedek. The first Melchizedek born. Get to the second book of Enoch, chapter 69 through 71. Do y'all know this little joker comes out the womb talking?
And then he do some flips.
He did flips too, bro. Like that's so when he said that to me earlier, I said, bro, that's actually in the second Enoch.
That is. That's
you know what I'm saying? When I first read it, I'm like, oh, I come out the womb talking.
Hey,
they knew his name.
He knew his name and everything. That's true though. We got look, check Google. So look, for y'all don't think I'm lying. Somebody Google this and put the link inside of the chat. It's called The Miracle Child by Joseph Pierce. The Miracle Child by Joseph Pierce. He got the documentation and all of that. And it was about them doing some excavation and stuff like that in Africa, and they came across that. Babies coming out walking and talking, y'all. Yes. Out the womb. Not it took 6 months out of the womb. Straight up. And then we actually got in the second book of Enoch, Melchizedek came out walking and talking. He did.
So when he said it, I said, bro, you know that's in the Enoch.
It is.
So when I first read it, I was like, huh? Little Joker came out like fully aware of everything.
They said didn't Cain come out tumbling too? Who was that? They came out. Cain came out tumbling too.
Noah's brother Ner.
Melchizedek.
But he thought, and the crazy part is,
speaking to the mic, bro.
When he was born, you know what I'm saying? His father thought that his mother cheated on him. Because he been doing priestly duties. He hadn't laid with his woman.
Yeah.
So I mean, another situation where, you know what I'm saying, a child is conceived. Like Christ, he was conceived. You know what I'm saying? And this was before the flood. He was born, he was birthed as a sign to let it be known, like the Most High gonna restore the priesthood after the flood. You know what I'm saying?
So Nurse see his wife pregnant. He been out doing the priestly duties for half a year. So he come back, she pregnant. He cuss her out. Woman, what the hell is you? And he spoke to her so ratchet that she died.
Yeah.
Died, bro. You know what I'm saying? That's why we gotta be careful on how we speak to one another. You know what I'm saying?
Dropped dead, boy.
Certain words can make somebody shut down and go into a mode of depression.
She still gave birth to
him. Yeah. So they go and dig. They go and dig the grave.
Yeah, because he had to call his brother.
Yeah,
his brother helped.
He like, hey,
Noah helped come bury the body.
She died, man. I think she committed, infidelity and all that. So they go dig the grave. They come back. It's this whole little joker sitting there.
He chilling, talking.
You know what I'm saying? And then the Most High, like, he was given as a sign. So he restored the priesthood after the flood. You know what I'm saying? So then instead of burying her in black garments, they buried her in white garments. You know what I'm saying? And he straight was like, man, I sinned, man, because I talked to a priest like that, and it made her die. You know what I'm saying? So when he brought that up earlier, I'm like, that's in the second book of Enoch.
Yeah.
Not Enoch chapter 2, the second book of Enoch. You read chapter 69 to 71, you're going to read about this child that was born before the flood. He was born to Noah's brother. His brother's name was Ner, N-I-R.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But Ner was a priest, and his wife ended up getting pregnant or conceiving while he wasn't around.
So Noah's nephew.
Yeah.
So look, the question is, why are our children not coming out doing that? It's because they're indoctrinated, whether we know it or not. Subconsciously, they have been indoctrinated with the European concept. That's why you have to take, look, it ain't just taking back our culture 94.5%. You have to take it back 100%. 100%. That means it's just not only keeping the commandments and coming to feast days. You have to truly be on your own land, cultivating that land, building your own foods, feeding your own foods, homeschooling, everything. Every nick and cranny and detail of your life have to be indulged into the Bible. That's the blueprint. Then once they get in, now they can start coming into our DNA again, because our whole entire environment is not touched or messed with by this European concept. Then we have children, and then the mother, while the fetus or the embryo is inside of the sac, can be chewing and taking on his DNA. Then when that baby come out, this whole baby genetics is different because we are fully involved in our culture. Right now, people keeping feast days, but we still paying rent. You still paying rent. You know, people know the commandments, but we ain't growing our own food. You see what I'm saying? So that's the reason why. It's this heathen still got his finger in some of our plates, y'all. Whether we want to admit it or not, he do. Huh? I'm wearing polo pants right now. Huh? Would I be wearing these if my wives was making clothes and all, which we working on all window? You see what I'm saying? So regardless on how much we preach and how much we teach that we are coming out from amongst her, we not. Once we truly 100% do that, you will start seeing these babies develop very, very, very differently. Just like what was happening in Kenya and what was happening in Ethiopia with them babies, and what was happening in Enoch, the second book of Enoch. These children coming out very intellectual, walking and talking, and know their mother and their father name. It's documented. It's proof. It's been recorded. This is no lie. It's on record. They making books about it. The Miracle Child by Joseph Pierce. Look it up. All right, look, let's get into this. I want to get into the intellectual intelligence and how it truly begins inside of the womb of the mother. All right, so this shows you how the mother has to be in a state of harmony while she's pregnant. And in order for her to be in a state of harmony while she's pregnant, the relationship has to be balanced before y'all lay down and she conceives. All right, because all that first initial burst of energy that we call ejaculation, all that forces all of that man's life force. That's his strength. That's his intellect. All of that is moved through something you call semen, or what we call pure blood. That's given to the woman. That woman womb and ovaries cultivate that, and then an embryo is coming from that. From the embryo becomes a fetus. That fetus become an infant. That infant become a baby. That baby become a toddler. That toddler become a young child. Then that child grow up to be a preteen to an adult. So literally, your seed is a direct replica of you and the mother and the environment. So the environment have to be in a balance of homeostasis, or what we call a harmony, a balanced harmony while you ejaculate. Because that first initial ejaculation is all the energy, depression, happiness, emotion, everything that man had goes into that woman. Then it connects with all of her energy, and this is what makes that seed, y'all. Straight up. And then while she's pregnant, she has to be comfortable. She has to be balanced. She has to be fed the right nutrition. She has to have the right intellect. That's why it's real good for pregnant women to read. Do y'all know? Look this stuff up. A woman that reads every day while she's pregnant, the baby end up learning how to read before he turns 1 and have a full vocabulary before he turns 1. So you can't tell me that the environment of that mother is not very, very heavily influenced of the child. That's why we don't need broken up marriages. That's why we don't need, we get pregnant, all of a sudden we on bad terms, and then I don't see you till the baby's born. No. Then you wonder why the baby is acting the way it's acting. We have to heal this right now, because look, intellectual intelligence is from the mother's womb. We finna read it right now. Let's go to the, oh, my bad, brother. Yeah, finish that.
Deuteronomy 28, just a few verses, right? So we see the blessings. If we listen diligently to the Most High, He's going to bless us and put us above all nations on the earth. Deuteronomy 28:1, right? And then verse 2 says, Deuteronomy 22 says, and all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee. Ooh. If you shall hearken unto the voice of the Most High, your God.
Hallelujah.
Right? I mean, they're going to chase us down and overtake. To overtake something, you can conquer it. We want blessings to conquer us.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if you jump on down, I'm going to jump on down. All right, now get to 15. This is the consequence, right? But it shall come to pass if you will not hearken unto the voice of Yahweh Elohim God, the Lord thy God, to observe and do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command you this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee. All right, I'm going to jump down. Verse 20. The Most High shall send upon thee, talking to Israel, his people. The Most High shall send upon thee or you cursing, vexation, and rebuke in all that you set your hand unto for to do, until you be destroyed.
That's what's happening to us right now. There's a mindset as a people. And we having babies with this mindset. We actually having babies with this mindset. Babies with blasting, cursing, mildew, vexation of spirit. That means stress. You stressed out and ejaculate into a stressed out woman gonna create a stress seed, which is gonna give birth to a stressed baby. And we wondering why they picking black folks to drink adrenochrome. Because our adrenaline steroids are highest than any other nation on planet Earth, because we so damn stressed out, because we constantly sinning and we refuse to take back our culture. Period.
And until thou perish quickly because of the wickedness of your doings, whereby thou hast forsaken me. The Most High shall make the pestilence, y'all, let's play.
Yeah.
The Most High shall make the pestilence cleave unto thee.
Y'all see that?
Cleave unto you until he have consumed you from off the land, whether you go to possess it. The Most High shall smite thee with a consumption and with a fever.
What fever? What is a fever? A fever is when the body raises temperature to increase circulation because infection have set in. Sickness.
And with an inflammation.
Inflammation. What do inflammation is? That's when the body swells up to actually isolate the problem, for that fever can burn the infection out. Inflammation. Inflammatory diseases like arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis, diabetes mellitus, inflammation to the pancreas. All these diseases that we have right now. Come on.
And with an extreme burn.
Extreme burning. Being burnt on fire, acid, acidic, living in acidic environments. We burning alive here. That's what cancer is. Cancer is a degenerative acidic disease. Whose high is in cancer? So-called Negro.
And with the sword.
Ain't we getting killed in the streets? We either killing each other or these other nations are killing us. What else, bro?
And with blasting.
And with what?
Blasting.
And what is the blasting? Come on.
And with mildew.
That's talking about fungus and mold. If you check the lungs of the so-called Negroes, we have the most fungus and molds of blasting and mildew in our bodies due to the old slave houses we used to live in, due to the projects we used to live in, and how they segregate us and send us to these different parts of these countries, bro. Look this stuff up. Bro, I did seminars off of this. Look, the Bible is so accurate, it blows my mind. Only we subjected to these things. Why is that? And we wonder why our children coming out the way they is. Something wrong with all our children. Someone got allergy diseases. Something be wrong with each of it's be from our DNA. The things that we done did, even though we done repented from it, it takes a while to undo generational curses. It says to the third and fourth. So you still, just because you did what you did and you repented, don't mean you unring the bell. That still have to manifest. Period. Yeah, we got a lot of work to do, y'all. A lot of work. And this will not be overnight. This will not be overnight. But at least we taking a stand right now, right? Can we hallelujah to that? Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
And they shall pursue thee until thou perish. I'm going to jump down. Verse 25. It says, the Most High shall cause thee to be smitten before your enemies. And thou shalt go out one way against them and flee 7 ways before them. And shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. That slave trade is right there.
There it is.
You ain't voluntarily migrate when we did.
No, he was forced.
By force.
Yes.
Verse 26, and thy carcass, your dead body, shall be meat unto all the fowls of the earth.
Yeah.
Trim off this. And unto the beasts of the earth. And no man shall free them away. Most I call your oppressive beasts.
They are.
Of the earth.
Animalistic beasts.
Think about it. I mean, that's the mind of an animal. To straight think of a science project, call it the projects. Niggas brag about being from the projects to put you in one of them.
Yep.
After they did it with rats.
Psychological locks.
You understand? Look how accurate the Bible is.
Yeah, very accurate.
Beasts of the earth. Straight up. You understand? And the crazy part about it is, in the book of Daniel, the kingdoms of the earth that Daniel prophesied will come after Babylon in successive order or compared to
the beasts. Straight up, bro. Boy, the Bible's something serious when you really read it.
It's beyond me. I first understood it, boy, I caught chills.
Yeah.
And I started crying.
Yeah.
Like, whoa, I didn't even know this was here the whole time.
Yeah.
I look at all the books I read, you know, fancy, I read this book and this book. W.E. Du Bois, Marcus Garvey, you know, niggas don't know about the 48 laws of power. Yeah. None of that told me who I was. And why we in this situation and what we need to do to get about it.
So that prophecy hit different, huh?
Man, hit me like a ton of bricks. Nigga, I ain't cried since I was born. Well, I was reborn that day. Crying like a baby. Like, whoa!
Yeah.
I didn't know this was in her. You feel me? Prophecy over 4,000 years ago. Prophecy about the condition of the Most High's people, Israel, because of our rebellion.
Yep.
You understand? And I made a vow to the Most High that day. I'm going beyond all.
Yeah.
I can't go soft whenever I got to go just beyond all. So this is true, give it to me, and I promise. You understand? I will wage war against the forces of darkness until my last breath.
Hallelujah.
You understand? This is why you gonna do what you gonna do. This is why on what you call a scientific level and a political level, you feel me? We in war on every front.
Every front.
And you like, well, why is it like that? You understand? Y'all, look, this heathen ain't woke up, scratched his hairy back, and just did this on his own.
It's been a spirit put on him.
You understand? It's been alive from on high.
Okay.
Because of us going against our maker.
Yeah.
So what do we learn? Stop going against your maker.
And fully activate your culture. That's the only way you're gonna unlock and cleanse your DNA, y'all. You can't be 99.9% in the culture and then have that little one off. Satan's still gonna have his hands in you. I'm telling you, it's gonna have to be 100% full rebellion of this system for us to get our God back. 100% full rebellion. Period. I still got some work to do. I got on polo sweats as we speak. Women, y'all need to learn sewing so we can get inside of our own clothes. Straight up. Uriel doing something great right now with his garden. Backyard look amazing. It's time to get in. We gotta start truly taking this back, man. That's the only way our children are gonna be cool, because other than that, we're gonna constantly steady keep giving them our broken DNA, which is a very oppressed DNA that is locked. DNA is not supposed to be sprung up into a coil. Our DNA is sprung up like this, y'all, into a coil. Your DNA is supposed to be unlocked, but we can actually experience the history of our ancestors. Wow. We can't even tap back into our Akashic records, and we gotta meditate. And we didn't have to do that back then. You can go sit up under a memory oak tree, and a vision will hit you. Am I lying, Maccabee? It's all throughout the scripture. They sat under the memory oak, and Abraham was hit with a vision. We gotta do all types of meditating and all just to get a vision, y'all, because our DNA is so. Man, it's got to unlock itself. The only way you can unlock it is through your culture, man. Period. We have to take back our culture. And once you get your culture back, guess what? It's a part of a culture. A God, a language, a land, clothes, food, a dietary law, and all those other things such alike.
Yeah. Be an unapologetic Hebrew.
Straight
I
up.
don't apologize for being over. I don't care who get offended. I don't care who don't like it when I come around. That's your problem.
Yeah.
You understand? Because when I was in the world, I was unapologetic.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Bumpy, this is what I am and this is what I do.
Right.
No, you gotta be unapologetic. You gotta be 1,000 times more harder for the Most High.
That's right.
You understand? This is the truth. This is what it is. Who gonna disprove us?
Okay.
We done debated all of y'all. You gonna hear about it, the Kemet's and the Hoteps. Man, we didn't shut all of them down through the power of the Most High. Right? All of us on the channel. Years ago, we had a boy come down. Somebody he was about to prove the Bible was stolen out the Book of the Dead.
I remember that. Boy.
And then I went and got the Book of the Dead. Look, he ain't show up with it. But I gave it to him. Show us right now on camera.
He read fight.
What you talking about? His mama was in the crowd.
I remember that day.
His mama, she said, "Come on, Stevie."
Yep, I remember that. Let's go.
What the hell you talking about? The Bible stolen out the Egyptian Book of the Dead. Where it?
I remember that.
Chapter and verse me. I'm waiting. You dig? When you put it like that, you dig? And they see, okay, now that brother's very convinced. You feel me? And he's well researched. Man, look, ain't nothing. Look, they ain't got nothing that can come against the God of Israel.
That's right.
Period. You dig? They'd have been brought it out, y'all. What you mean? Everybody be running around here with a little fancy little book. This is how you disprove them bruised. It ain't out there.
It ain't
nothing in existence that can combat that Bible. That Bible is the truth.
Facts.
You understand? And look, they ain't messing with it in English.
Yeah.
Let alone we get to the Hebrew.
They don't even want to get to the Hebrew.
Yeah, be quiet, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about.
Be done. They be done.
Your God is real.
Yeah.
You understand? And he tell us, look, at my people which are called by my name. Humble themselves and repent. You understand? Man, slavery would have been over yesterday.
Yep.
This thing would have been over yesterday. You be back on top, ruling this earth with a crown on your head.
That's right.
Sitting on a throne, dictating what they call geopolitics, earth politics. You understand? Most High is waiting for us to wait.
Turn back,
man.
Yep.
Before it's too late, you see everything happening. You see the uprisings happening. You know what I'm saying? You see the plagues in the earth.
Yeah.
What is the Negro waiting on?
Man.
It tell you in the Apocrypha, when you see these things happening, know it is the very time in which the Most High is going to visit the creation that He made.
Yep.
And you seeing these things happen. And you get right back to sleep. So what?
You wonder why children like that, man.
You know what I'm saying? Don't get caught slipping. Look, unless you focus, you're going down too.
Yep.
It's time for us to focus and look, come all the way home, man. Come on home. Come on home, man. Serve your God and love to serve him. Right? Be unapologetic about it. I'm a brute. You understand? I embrace this culture 1,000%. Whoever don't like it, that's your problem.
Right.
That's how you gotta be. If you come any other way, you're gonna be, well, I don't know. And so and so on the internet had a point. And you know, the house of consciousness and brother Paul, niggas ain't got no point. No point. I'm trying to tell y'all, we already debated all that.
And everything they talking about, they can't never prove with their books. We pulling all this scientific database that they highly esteem themselves out. They never have a book for it. They gonna give you the white man's reference. We going back to the Bible. Pulling it out the book. Stop it, man.
Beautiful. So come on home, man. You know what I'm saying? That's the time. Anybody that come on home. Meaning come on back to your God and fully embrace this culture.
Hallelujah.
Love to be one of his chosen people, man. You understand? White folks don't apologize for being white. They love their white privilege. Well, how you with to know? Well, hold on. You know, we actually are above everybody. We the most side chosen people. We the apple of his eye. We got to get our act together. We're going to rule this earth one day up under Christ. Man, that's beautiful to realize. And what are you ashamed for and apologizing for? Ain't nothing to apologize about. You feel me? Operate and regulate like you're rolling.
Yeah. Look, let's get into them. So what I want to do is touch on the intellectual intelligence that begins in the mother's womb. Let's start this off in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 1. Let's start that deal at verse 5. No, start it at 4. This shows you that you can actually have the so-called black woman have intellect that's provided through the hairs of her skin that actually breaks up these neurons of the environment, and it becomes a chemical and it feeds her baby. Literally, the environment that the woman's in, the baby experience that same environment on a psychological level. So when the so-called Negro woman is pregnant, we have to make sure that that environment is harmony and it's peaceful. But of course, she has to be in order willfully at first. Willingly. Don't try to do this with no wicked woman. It ain't gonna work. You're gonna end up not seeing your baby. Trust me. But if she's willing to let Yahweh use her and she's willing to tap back into her culture, once you hear that that baby is on the way, your whole thing is to make that environment conducive for her to be, very, very harmonized and peace, because everything she download goes straight to your seed. Remember, that's not her seed. That's your seed. She's just providing the nutrients. She's the glue and bind of the house, but you are the leader of the house, and you're creating a builder, or you're creating a house that has a covenant, which is a daughter. That's your seed, though. So if she's carrying your seed, you need to be treating her like she your seed, because she's carrying your seed. Yeah, honor and praise her. Honor and praise her. Yeah.
I want to be around you all day.
Yeah, I sure want to be around you every day, all day, brother. With my woman at. Hallelujah. So look, let's read this. So what we talking about is intellectual intelligence that the black woman has the capability of downloading in her environment, and she teaches her baby while the baby is not even born yet. It's when the baby is in the womb. That baby, that Israelite child is so much of a God that he is learning and processing while he's in the womb. Y'all think I'm lying? It's in the Bible. They've been saying this in science, but we're going to read in the Bible. Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 4.
Jeremiah chapter 1, verse 4. Then the word of the Lord came to me, saying, before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee.
Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. All right. Now, an unformed baby in the belly is called an embryo. Embryo. All right, come on.
And before thou camest forth out of the womb.
All right, so before I gave birth, this is when the baby is in development stage now. All right, peep what Yahweh did to him. This show you how the baby has the capability of discernment and learning intellect and being ordained while he's not even out of the womb yet. Look, doctors are finally figuring this out. This is documented, y'all. This is documented, but the Bible been saying this for thousands of years. Come on.
And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified.
So he chose to sanctify him before he came forth out of the womb. So you can either have anointed priest babies or you can have crack babies. Now, my whole, look, I got a question. Is the crack damaging the baby once he's out of the womb, or that damage took place while he was growing in the womb? So this is not hard to figure out, ain't it? We see what's going on here, right? All right, start from 5 again.
Verse 5 again. Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew thee. And before thou camest forth out of the womb, I sanctified thee.
And what else he do?
And I ordained thee a prophet unto the nation.
Now, in order to be a prophet, you have to have a certain amount of intellect and spiritual gifts. He had intellect and spiritual gifts before he came out as an infant, meaning he had these things in the womb. So what are we doing with our pregnant women? Are we providing that type of environment? Or we living in a stressed out environment? Or is she providing that type of environment for herself because she is the glue to the house? She's the bond of the family. She binds the family together. You see what I'm saying? So we have to make sure that we are truly, truly nurturing that. Me, I have failed as a father many times with this situation right here. Arguing, stressing the woman out more, or the woman going off and I ain't giving her no leeway because she off, and baby coming out all types of messed up. She's got a lot of praying to do, a lot of stuff to do because these things mess with the baby. Mess with the baby. Then you got to be in a certain amount of you back and forth in front of hospitals. You going to these doctor visits and that doctor visits, and you never once sat back and say, "Dang, me as a father of the household, me as a man, have I done something to deserve this?" And all actuality, it's like, Negro, yes. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Huh? You see what I'm saying? Let's get another one. Let's get Psalms, Book of Psalms, chapter 139, 9 through 13. Book of Psalms, chapter 139, 9 through 13. Then we're going to get on the biological history and how it's inherited into our DNA, and then we'll close it out. All right, let's get this. Book of Psalms, chapter 139.
That's powerful, man. Mosiah tell Jeremiah before.
He gave intellect.
Before I formed thee in the belly, I knew you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's what you understand, you know what I mean, how special you are to the Almighty.
Yeah.
Who are you to know before you was conceived in the womb?
Yeah.
He told him, before I formed you in the belly, I knew you.
And then he said, and before you came out of the womb, I ordained you. So he gave him intellect and power while he was in the womb, but he knew him before he was even thought of. Deep, man. Show you, man, that we are way greater than what we think, and that whatever you do in your environment, the oppressions and that chemical imbalance is gonna go on them children while they in the stomach, man. That is very important, man. We have to keep that in mind. We be acting like these things are just light matters here. This is heavy. This is important. What that woman eat while she got your seed is important. The music she listened to while that baby is in her belly is important. Didn't it say that John was dancing in the womb of his mother when Christ came around? John was dancing in the womb. This your intellect is going on in the womb, y'all. Huh? What type of music you listening to? What type of conversations you involved in? Then it be the pregnant women gossiping and all. It be the craziest stuff. But then the baby,
twerk video.
Yeah, twerk video. Pregnant women at the club, y'all. Pregnant women drinking, smoking. Oh, but we got the crack baby. So crack can affect that baby. Chemicals can affect that baby. That's all crack is a chemical, right? So you don't think psychological chemicals that's produced by your own adrenal glands and your glands, you don't think that's going to affect the baby? Stop it. Stop it. We truly, truly have to watch ourselves and watch what we're doing, because we were commanded to go forth and be fruitful and multiply. But we're supposed to be multiplying and being fruitful and giving birth into a righteous nation, not no wicked nation, y'all. And we're going to have to be judged for everything that we did, plus our children, y'all. Period. All right, Psalms 139. Psalms 139, we're going to start that deal at 9, brother. Let me blow it up for them so they can see it. Here go another one, y'all. Hold on.
And they also let you know, so it's like women and men who having abortions, man, you be killing a prophet.
That is off. Yeah, you could, boy, say that again.
It's like men and women who be having abortions, you can straight be killing a prophet.
You can be, yeah, and he can be ordained, and you done took him out. Boy, that's murder. Murder of the innocent, too.
They tell you in Deuteronomy 27, curse be he. You understand that slave the innocent for a reward.
Ooh.
You're actually paying somebody to kill an innocent child.
Boy.
That child got life.
Killing a prophet.
Being formed. You know, that's a curse you call on yourself, man.
Ooh.
That's a murder. You know what I'm saying? You don't want that baby given to me.
Yeah, then they say it's not considered a baby yet. He can have intellect before he's even formed in your womb. What are you talking about?
Look, if you don't want your babies given to me,
yeah, give them to us.
It's a ministry arrangement.
Yeah, straight up.
So y'all do.
Yeah.
You feel me? As many able bodies around their brothers and sisters, we'll make sure them babies are straight.
Okay.
Don't kill them.
They say they got a heartbeat.
They do. That's the first thing that forms.
Yeah.
When you go listen to the heartbeat.
Yeah.
And everything forms based off the heartbeat.
Yep.
Well, you feel me? Everything, every system.
Nervous system, then the heart. But yeah, same thing. Yep. Okay.
All praise, man. Yeah, you want them babies, you give them on over here to us. We'll take care of them.
Yes, we will.
We'll train them up properly.
Yes, we will.
You did.
Because we called to do that.
We ain't in no way, shape, form, or fashion condoning abortion.
Right.
Period. You feel me? Some people, what if this happened? Whatever happened. Whatever happened. We ain't condoning the kill of the child.
And then the punishment, if you get into that Peter, boy, man. That revelation of Peter, boy, them punishments is, man, look. Hey, man.
It's a whole level of the lake of fire.
Hey, straight up.
You know what I'm saying? If you ever procured any type of that, repentance is in order.
Most definitely.
Most High would definitely forgive you for that. But you got to be totally against killing children.
Gang.
That's what you're murdering children when you did that. You know what I'm saying? If any man that ever did, I got $300, nigga, you weak.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Repent of that. Any sister ever done did that, you weak.
Yeah.
Repent of that. The Lord is not down with murdering children.
No, he's not.
You understand? It ain't the baby fault.
Right.
That was y'all was doing loin warfare.
Straight up.
Ain't the baby fault that you know what I'm saying? That the baby's on the way now, and now you first thing you think of is murder.
Murder.
To cover up your wickedness. No, let that baby come on up in her. If you don't want him, give him on over to us. We'll train him.
Okay.
You understand? Straight up.
All right, let's get it, brother. We in the book of Psalms, chapter 139, 9 through 13.
Okay.
Matter of fact, start at 13, matter of fact.
You said start at 13?
Start at 13, yeah. Yeah, we do it like that. Start at 13. All right, we there. Let's get it.
Psalms chapter 139, verse 13.
All right, this showing about the intellectual intelligence that begins in the mother's womb as well, before the baby is even born. All right, come on with it.
For thou hast possessed my reins. Thou hast covered me in my mother's womb.
Thou did what?
Covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
See that? I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. Come on.
Marvelous are thy works.
Ooh, come on.
And that my soul knoweth right well.
Come on, brother.
My substance was not hid from thee.
Ooh, come on.
When I was made in secret.
See that? His substance was not hid from him when he was made in secret. Secret meaning he was hiding in his mother's womb being made, but everything that the Most High had in store for him was not even hid from him. He was able to understand that in his mother's womb. We just read Jeremiah 1 and 5 that we see somebody being ordained as a prophet in the mother's womb. So while these women walking around with our seeds, man, we have to make sure that their mindsets is right. Because they are downloading information and giving it to who? Your seed, man. Your seed. Come on.
And curiously wrought in the Lord's sports of the earth.
Come on.
Thine eyes did see my substance.
Ooh, come on.
Yet being unperfect.
See, come on.
And in that book, all my members were written.
Ooh, come on.
Which in continuance continuance were fashioned.
You see that? This is how beautiful a baby is made. Y'all realize what's going on here right now about the embryonic stage of a baby. Y'all see that? The Bible talks about the embryonic stages of growth and development of a fetus. We're reading about it right now. In the Bible. It's called semiotic and embryonic relations. Look it up. This in the Bible, y'all. Come on.
When as yet there was none of them. Continue?
Yep, this is 17.
Verse 17. How precious also are the thoughts unto me, O God. How great is the sum of them.
All right, now look, let's get two more scriptures. Matter of fact, we're gonna do 3 more, then we get out here. Let's get about the biological history that's in here in the DNA. Let's go to Exodus chapter 20 and 5. Exodus 20 and 5. We're gonna run through these and then we're gonna do a part 2. Exodus 20 and 5. Remember the growth and development of the so-called Negro child. Y'all got some understanding? Y'all?
Hallelujah. They put in the Apocalypse of Peter audio book. Sis on her saying she sent that on out.
Hey, that deal, boy. Hey, boy, I first read that. I'm like, boy, hey, man. All right, with the book, huh? Yeah, it's a whole book. Hey, bro, read about, boy, and they talk about the angels doing executions and judgment, boy, for different sins, boy. And then you read, that's why it's different levels to Sheol, hell. That's why it's different levels to heaven, brother. You getting that, boy, you be like, boy. You know how they say ain't no sin greater than another? In the sense, sin is sin, but sin, it can be some sins that's greater than others, brother. Flat out. You go rob a store and you put your stuff into a little innocent baby and you shatter that innocence of that child. That's a different type of judgment.
Of course.
Right?
Come on, man.
It's straight up.
Use common sense. You know good and well molesting a child. You feel me? Ain't on the same level as robbing a
Open the door.
Yeah.
I mean, both is sin, but that right there is something else.
Yeah.
That's a whole other level.
Exactly.
Your witness, you know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Now let's show how wickedness can be passed down through the babies by DNA. All right. Remember, biological history is embedded in your DNA. Biological history is embedded in your DNA. Everything you do and you ain't repented for, even if you repented for, guess who got to pay the consequence for it? Your children. And look, it got so bad to the point that the scriptures start telling you, look, fathers, you going to pay for your sins and the son going to pay for his sins. That's how deep this is, because there was so many children taking affliction for what the father did, just like the person at the water. When the angel came down and stirred the water, they asked Christ, this came because of what his fathers did? He said, no, this came to show the works and the manifestation of God. If I come do this miracle right here for y'all can believe. But notice what they asked him. Is he blind because what his mother and father did? Showing you that sickness can be passed down through DNA. Curses and sin can be passed down through DNA. But hold on, Abraham, blessings can be passed down through DNA. If we provide the right environment for our children and the mothers, our wives. Man, that's deep, bro. Now I see what he means when he said, ye are gods. We are. Because we create, we can set certain judgments, and we can bring certain outcomes if we are righteous, because we are the God of our household. It makes sense, man. It makes a lot of sense. All right, let's get it.
Oh, yeah.
Exodus 20 and 5. Now, look, it's talking about the biological history and show how it's embedded and passed down through DNA.
The book of Exodus, Shemot, chapter 20, verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yahweh Elohekah, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God.
And scientifically proven, before we get into this too, keeping the commandments or doing these affirmations and living out this lifestyle actually help you unlock your DNA as well. And it helps you self-heal yourself. It's another scripture that says keeping his commandments is health unto thy neighbor. Bruh, the Bible is straight science, y'all. Hey, it is, man. It's way deeper than what people making it, man. Straight up. Come on.
Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children.
Upon the who?
Upon the children.
So hold on. You serving other gods will visit the iniquity, the sins of the fathers, but this sin will be upon who? The children. Biological history is real. Passing down information through DNA is real. Why y'all think y'all seen all them Indian babies be all messed up, coming out crazy? Because the gods they worship coming out looking like they gods too. 8 legs, looking like God, Sheba and all of them. Moab and them that was created from incest, daughters sleeping with their fathers, most of them coming out as Siamese twins. Why y'all think y'all getting these births cursed like that? You rarely see some Siamese twin so-called African Americans. You see, because you seeing they mixing certain DNA and that code get mixed up and then that seed go forth and abominations come from them. Period. Come on, bro. Man, they coming out crazy. Man, they come out looking just like they gods because they worship them octopuses, man. They come out looking like them, bro. They do, man. It's mind blowing. Come on.
Visit the iniquity of the fathers upon the children until the third and fourth generation,
man,
of them that hate.
You see that? 3rd and 4th generation. So just because you sin and you repented, guess what still got to go forth? Because according to Isaiah, his word can't come back void. So even though you repented, you still got 4 generations to go through until you able to uncoil that DNA and straighten that bloodline. See that? So now imagine us still sinning. That's another 4 generations. Now, if our children don't get together, that's another 4 generations. Y'all see how this go? When is we going to break the wheel? When we going to break these curses? When we going to change our mindset and truly, truly start rearing up righteous children in Israel? For we can break these curses and bring them back. He told you how to undo the curse. Hearken unto me. It's easy to undo. We're just a rebellious nation, man. All right, let's get a couple more. Let's go to Numbers. Numbers 14 and 18. Numbers 14 and 18. We're going to do one more after that. Numbers 14 and 18. Right now we get into the biological history that's inherited or embedded in our DNA. Numbers 14 and 18.
Trip off the book of Jasher chapter 7.
Most definitely.
Moshe.
Yeah.
He was a lad with the Pharaoh.
Yeah.
Took the crown off his head. Remember what the magician told him? Like all the Hebrew boys, had this power, of the Spirit of God, and they were born with the understanding and the wisdom.
Yeah, that was out. Yeah, innate DNA. Innate DNA. It's just something different about us. When you get into that magical child, by Joseph Pierce, man, it talks about that, man. How we just different. How our bone density is thicker. How the minerals and memory inside of our body, just all of that. Yeah, so man, we just, bro, intellectually, man, psychically, we are a superior race, bro. It's just what it is. We're just a superior race.
All praises, man. Come on home. Numbers 14, 18.
14 and 18.
The Most High is long suffering and of great mercy, forgiving iniquity and transgression.
Right.
And by no means clearing the guilty.
Ooh, and by no means doing what?
Clearing the guilty.
Come on.
Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation.
Y'all see that? There it go again. Hold on, let's keep reading though. Come on, brother.
Verse 19. Pardon, I beseech thee. Numbers 14 and 19. Pardon, I beseech thee.
Come on.
The iniquity of this people, according unto the greatness of thy mercy. And as thou hast forgiven this people from Egypt, even until now.
Showing you that these sins can actually move through your DNA. Whatever you do actually is a byproduct of the children you have. You can't be out here just doing whatever you want to do and having sex, because the byproduct of your children is going to be everything you are. Then the first thing you're going to ask God is, why? You're going to be in your prayer, why is my children like this, Yahweh? I was like that. What's wrong? Why do I keep going back to this doctor's office? The Most High like, boy, if you don't quit playing with me and just look back a couple years ago, this why. Drinking, smoking, cocaine using, gang banging, shooting people, in prison, getting shot. But you thought, because you in the truth now, you thought that you wouldn't have to pay for that? Huh? You thought it was all good because you a vegan now? What you think your body been cleansed out? You 31. You've been eating unhealthy for over 17 years. You think all that's gone because you did a little 4-year cleanse? You've been a vegan for 4 years? You think that's done? You don't think your children finna taste none of that? Stop it. Huh? As much as it takes to get into sin is as much as it takes not to get out of sin. That's a mindset change. That's easy. But the effects of it takes the same amount of time to wash away those effects on your body. Straight up. It's not an overnight thing. Yes, you can repent overnight, but you can't unring that bell once it's rung, y'all. And our children are feeling the effects of what we've been doing to them. Whole households is cursed for what we've been doing. Whole households be cursed for how we moving and how we acting, how we sinning. Whole households. And we be pointing the finger when it be all false. All false. Period. Let's do one more. Psalms 51 and 5, 1 through 5. It's our last scripture. Psalms 51, 1 through 5, family. Psalms 51, 1 through 5. We're going to leave it off here. Psalms 51, 1 through 5. Hallelujah. All right. Psalms 51, 1 through 5, family. We're going to leave it off here. Let's get it.
Psalms chapter 51, verse 1. The Psalm of David, when Nathan the prophet came unto him, after he had gone into Bathsheba.
Hold on. After he had gone into Bathsheba, when the baby born from that, was the baby around long? Why? Because what? Biological history is passed down through DNA, and the children was judged for the father and mother sin and iniquity. There you go. We got a child taking the sins of the father and mother. So we can't say this not real. Huh? And I'm going to keep giving y'all something that y'all can Google. Crack babies. That's something you can Google. You can see crack messing up a child in the womb, and you can see the effects through physically after the baby comes from the womb. And them babies never be right. Most of them have to be dopamine dependent all of their lives. They have to stay high literally all of their lives, or their body will seize up and they'll start going into convulsions and they die. You see that? Alcoholism, how the lungs of little children coming out undeveloped because all the alcohol. Look, the alcohol that the woman or the man was drinking before they got pregnant, before she got pregnant. She could have stopped drinking. You think all that alcohol and left your livers and your kidneys yet? Because you stopped for a year or two? No. Like, we have to be thinking long run when it comes to our seeds, y'all. We do. We do. This don't change overnight. Huh? A black man is polluted mentally. Right? His body manifests that mentally. Meaning his cells manifest that mentally. His blood manifests that pollution mentally, which means his seed. He go around, he get with a woman that is mentally enslaved in her mindset, still holding on to Babylon customs, meaning her chemical process is polluted mentally. They lay together and they have a baby. Guess what makes up that baby? Guess what makes it up? The seed of the father and the egg of the mother. All created by chemistry and chemicals and tissues in the body. You have a whole body been made for that. The father give it oxygen and give it life. You give it everything else. Only thing the father's providing for the baby is oxygen that's coming from you breathing. But he breathed that through your nostrils back in Adam's time. So that breath comes from Yahweh. Everything else that this baby is made of come from you. That baby got bad hair, Negro, you got bad hair. Or the mama. So there ain't no other. Huh? That baby got bad eyesight. Eyesight come from you or the mother. Or look, it can skip generations sometimes. Grandma got bad eyes. Bad skin, you or the mother. Grandma or grandpa. Notice everything that goes on with our seeds is a byproduct of our environment. Yeah. Hey, that is deep, man. That is deep. Boy, you bet. We need, as men and as women, we need to start taking responsibility in ourselves and loving ourselves enough to love our children. Straight up. Period.
That makes sense, man. Because look, that means everything you do affects everyone around you.
Exactly.
You understand? You see in our lower state that we influence the world. It's Chinese rappers like niggas saying about catching bodies and all that. You know what I'm saying? In our negativity, we influential even in our negativity. How much more in our righteousness? You understand? What you do don't just affect you.
Okay.
You understand? The decisions you make that you know you like, when we make our decisions, we know like, yeah, that's all. I know what's going on.
Straight up.
I'm still about to do it. You understand? But how selfish are you? Because it's not just affecting you. You understand? Your brothers and sisters around you, your actual children,
man,
your wife, your spouse, whatever. Everything you do affects everybody around you. Scripture say none of us live or die to ourselves.
Straight up.
In other words, somebody taught you how to tie your shoes. Somebody taught you hygiene.
Yeah.
You understand? Somebody taught you how to, you wipe your urine, all that extra. You understand? So if the things that you do affect everybody around you, then we all need to be focused on doing what's right.
That's right.
Being right in the eyes of the Most High. And let that affect everybody around us.
Gang.
You understand? That was the class last night. You ain't supposed to be keeping company with a thief.
Straight up.
The Bible says if you a partner with a thief, you hate your own soul. You feel me? And if you in the car with him and he decided to rob the gas station, you catching the charge too.
Yep.
That's even in this realm. You dig? You ain't supposed to be friends with somebody that's hot-headed, just ready to go and blow at any moment. The scripture says you don't be friends with nobody like that. You see what I'm saying? Because the things that you do affect everyone around you.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So we ain't just called for us just to be, okay, well, that's, me and that's him. No, hey, look, if we friends, if we call ourselves brothers and sisters, especially in this, then guess what? We are accountable to each other. You understand? Like, you can't be doing that. You know what I'm saying? Coach T, you can't be doing that. What is that? Because it's going to affect me. It's going to affect these children. Think about it. Those little babies over there right there. 10 years from now, they be almost grown. Right? Imagine looking them in their eyes and they like, I remember 10 years ago when y'all was doing all type of wickedness.
Man.
How does that make you feel as a grown man?
And most likely they
not going to like that. A child could look at you in your face and say, no, I remember that.
Yeah.
I remember when y'all was around there committing that wickedness.
And most likely they gonna be in wickedness because what creates the personality is the environment you provide for them. Straight up.
Real talk.
What creates the mind? What creates personality? It's the things that the observer perceives. What are we perceiving? What we eating, what we drinking, who we associate ourselves with, traditions, holiday, all of that is what makes your personality. Per means one. Son, it means actual son, a person, an individual. Ality is the reality you living in. That's what makes your mind. And we wondering why our children jacked up. All we got to do is look at the generation that came in before them. And it makes all the sense in the world. That's why we here to make a change. For real. Got to. We don't have no, that's right, big bro. We don't got no choice. We finished after this. Y'all realize that you can produce so much wickedness in a bloodline that it would eradicate the race? That's in scripture. And that's in science. Huh? Well, races don't even exist no more. Huh? Y'all see how extinction work, right? All right, we better quit playing around. He was finna eradicate Israel, and Moses like, hold on, Father. Just take me. Don't eradicate the whole family tree now. That's straight up. So we see that this is possible. So we have to watch. Yeah, we have to watch what we're doing, and we have to truly watch the environment that we put in. Especially, I'm talking to the man right now. Yeah. You have to watch them because you control which woman gonna be in your household. Pick the right one. You know what I'm saying? And if you pick that right woman, then the child will be cultivated correctly too. So, man, we have to watch our households. And when it says be the leader of that house, he mean really lead that house. That means you got say so of what comes in and what go out. You know what I'm saying? And stop being led by y'all lust and by y'all penis. You have a whole lot of baby mamas out here with a whole lot of children. Half of them ain't gonna be in the truth. Then when you get in the truth, the other half in the truth, they ain't gonna get along because the other ones are still worldly. But then you got some in the truth. I'm speaking from experience. This is coming from Yaki because I was out lustful in music, going around land with all these women. Then I finally decided to change my life. And children can't even get together correctly because the mindset is so different. You know what I'm saying? I'm in my prayer closet about that every single day, y'all. You know what I'm saying? So y'all have a chance to do this better. Do it. Do it. Especially these young ones around here. That's the whole point for this lesson. Straight up. Growth and development is very, very important. If we take back that history and we cultivate that in the minds of our youngsters, they won't have to go through what I just mentioned I went through. Flat out. Let's read this last one. Psalms 51, 1-5. Well, you did one. Let's start at 2.
Continue
on. We'll start back at 1 then, brother. Let's start back at it.
Have mercy upon me, O God, according to the loving kindness, according to the multitude of thy tender mercies. Blot out my transgression.
Yeah.
Wash me thoroughly from my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin.
Come on.
For I acknowledge my transgression.
Ooh, come on.
And my sin is ever before me.
Now, I remember I said, even though that you repent, you still can't unring the bell. He was sorry for what he did. Yahweh showed him mercy and didn't kill his butt. But guess who cooked that blame for that sin? His son. His son still had to die. Y'all see that? So even though that he's very repentant for what he did, you just can't unravel DNA overnight. No, it still have to be a penalty for what you've done. And your penalty is going to be not upon you. You're going to be feeling sorrowful and grieful, but it's going to be upon that baby. So we need to watch what we're doing because our seeds are taking direct effect and collateral damage for what's going on through us psychologically. Y'all see how deep that is? Come on.
Against thee only have I sinned, and done this evil in thy sight, that thou mightest be justified when thou speakest, and be clear when thou judgest.
Now check this out. This is how you know what's truly going on. He's going to show you why this happened. He's going to tell you because this was passed down from his ancestors. And it keep going all the way back into that original family tree, which is Adam and Kawah. Adam and Kawah, Adam and Eve. Y'all see how these sins have manifested? The DNA been jacked since then. Yahweh even tried to straighten it up with Cain. And he created the substitute after Abel died, because Abel had that pure DNA in him. And then after that, who came? The substitute. Seth. You see that? So then you see how we was made after that image. And he's constantly trying to cleanse and uncoil this fragmented DNA, but we constantly giving in into the oppression European concepts and thoughts and traditions. So the DNA stay messed up, stay junked. What is junk DNA? What do they even mean? Junk DNA. You got some guy made that's just not activated, and they call it junk DNA. It's your sin that's keeping you from flying up out of here, keeping you from raising your consciousness, unlocking your X-Man type of capabilities, your God-like capability. It's your sin. You're literally borrowing another culture, and you wonder why you in conflict with your God. I don't know. The way I studied the Bible different now. This just made me look at things crazy. I'd be like, man, bro, this is crazy. Straight up. Let's keep reading.
Verse 5. Behold, I was shaping in iniquity.
So that he was shaping iniquity. Come on.
And in sin, then my mother conceived.
Y'all see that? In sin, my mother conceived me. That's very, very important, and to note that we have to make sure when we laying down and playing God, because when you play God, you create. God is a creator. When you playing God, make sure you're in the right mindset, because who takes the hit, the collateral damage from that? Your seeds. And growth, spiritual growth and development is very important when it comes to the nation of Israel. Our lives, literally, and our afterlife depends on it. We have to start now. We got to start now, fam. So I hope y'all got that message. Part 2 will be next week. I really hope y'all wrote this stuff down and meditate over that. We got to watch the environment and what we're doing. We have to make sure the environment is conducive for ourselves, our wives, and for our children, especially the pregnant ones. We got to make sure that environment is up to par, because you done put you inside of that woman. Straight up. Hey, for real. She just the vehicle for your baby. But look, even though she the vehicle for your baby, all her thoughts in her environment manifest into your child, into your seed. And you was commanded to train up a child. You was commanded to do that. They didn't tell you to teach a child, train a child. What are we training our children for? Warfare. Whether it be spiritual, political, economical, physically, we train it for warfare, because that's the only way we can take back our history from this European devil. He's not giving it up. It's going to have to be through warfare. So while you got them in these schools under this white man learning that whack line history, learning a whack mathematics and all of that, that ain't going to work. It's going to take warfare, educational warfare, learning education and history from the Bible, all of that for us to take back this. It ain't going. We can't be in their system asking them for money to set us free. We're going to need our own means of money. Going to them to buy guns to go to war. Huh? That's going to be just like what happened with the brothers when they waited till all the other brothers got circumcised after they raped their sister and they fell asleep. They went in and slayed all of them. You see what I'm saying? We can't be that way, trusting in the enemy like the enemy trusted in us that day. You see what I'm saying? We got to stop that, man. We have to truly unlock and come from up out of her. And I'm not talking about 90%, 95%, 99%. It have to be 100%. If you leave any openings for this European, he will most definitely put his influences in on you. Every nation a drunk of her cup. Huh? This is how smart he is. But according to scripture and according to science, we are way, way, way superior and smarter. Way smarter. So we got to start acting like it. Hallelujah. Praises. All right, let's go and pray on out this deal.
Hey, anybody got any questions?
Yeah, anybody got any questions? My bad.
Anything on your mind? Raise your hand, ask your questions. The Bible got answers. Huh? Somebody say what? It's all good. You know what I'm saying? Y'all family, y'all. It's all good. Anybody online got any questions? Y'all got any questions? Go ahead and speak now. Y'all willing, we go into the scripture, ask the questions. Other than that, we about to face the rules and pray on out. You know what I'm saying? Excellent lesson today, my brother.
Lord, yeah. Part 2, Yahweh Rock Zone, which means Yahweh willing. We'll be doing it next week if Uriel or brother want to get down through the week, get on about it. Well, we got look, this I ain't getting none of that, boy. I ain't getting to the articles. We ain't getting to that Dr. Jensen article. Man, there's so many articles I want to pull up and show y'all. It's crazy how they just now coming out with all this information, but the Bible been talking about this for thousands of years, y'all. It's crazy.
I mean, we can just fill the week up. You know what I'm saying?
Let's do it, because man,
Part 2, 3,
man,
4, whatever.
We can break this down in a couple parts.
Exactly.
Because I got a whole session on this adrenochrome. That's a whole talk. Then now you see why a lot of us coming up missing. A lot of us coming up with our organs not in our bodies, man. And a lot of these celebrities, man, and a lot of these politics on house arrest right now. For what? What they've been doing? They've been drinking our blood, getting this adrenochrome and doing satanic rituals. And man, look, all of this tie into this. Because if you, but if your children is in the household, that children will be out just roaming around in stores and out after dark time. If you was truly rearing up your children, ain't no that children gonna be what you call it? What you call it when you steal a child? Kidnap proof. That child is gonna be kidnap proof. Straight up. Ain't no kidnapping going on. Cause this look, she got the culture, he got the culture of Yahweh, of the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Meaning this child listen to me. Ain't gonna be you ain't going out and play by yourself. No.
They know not to get out of pocket.
Yeah, you see what I'm saying?
Hey, well, I can see you.
Straight up.
Right. Whole neighborhood know me. Hey, y'all daddy yelling.
Yeah, hey.
You say, yeah. That's why I can see you. You know, around the side of the building, the back, none of that.
Yeah.
That's how it is in my
neighborhood. You got to police. Like, be unapologetic about it. Police everything.
Yeah, Uriel.
What, where, when, why, and how.
Hey, Uriel came to my neighborhood policing children. Hey, he came to my neighborhood shutting the neighborhood down. Hey, come here. Keep your ass on that sidewalk with that bike. Right. They like, yes, sir. Right. Hey, the father came out. His daddy came. No, I already got them together. I'm like,
his daddy was just like,
he was like, right on, brother. Hey, Uriel, boy, he came through the neighborhood, boy, ready to pull the belt out. I'm like, dang, let me get a chance to jump in, brother. He pulled up police in the neighborhood.
Straight up. Hey, man, we caught some little girls doing a little twerk thing on Instagram. Shut it down. What y'all doing? Oh, okay, yeah. Get on back up in that house.
Hey, straight up.
It's our job as men to police everything. Who, what, where, when, why, and how.
Yeah.
Remember, we the most high army on this earth.
Gang,
right?
gang.
You understand? No, you ain't finna skip past my stoop any shape, form, or fashion. Pull your damn pants. So what are you doing?
Straight up.
You know what I'm saying? The only reason wickedness is around and is normal because righteous men ain't standing up.
Exactly. Exactly.
Even the heathen said evil prevails when good men do nothing.
Yep.
The heathen even say that. Like, okay, well, you know what it is. Right. Step up and check the situation. Use a man.
That's right.
You feel me? Carry yourself like one.
Straight up.
You did. And protect them women and protect them babies.
That's
by
right.
any means necessary. You understand? They're our possession.
Yeah.
You understand? And that's what a man is. He provides, protect, and guide.
And conquer.
You know what I'm saying? By any means necessary.
That's right.
You did. And that way women feel more safe around. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's what it is.
You hear a lot of less lip too.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay, King.
Yeah.
Like, they ain't happening. They ain't cracking. Matter of fact, tell them to do this.
That's cool.
Okay.
That's right. Yeah. I provide food. I done built this home. I paying the yeah, you better let it. Okay. But look, you see, if you look at that periodical experiencing with them projects, that was the whole thing to get the man out of his strength and remove him from the household for the black woman to become rebellious, man. And it worked. But look, we anti that. We coming back in and we setting up and establishing the culture back in this earth, man. By any means necessary. And look, it's only one way with this heathen, y'all. Only one way to take back our culture. That's through warfare. I'm telling you. I know it sounds crazy. It might be a lot of red flags. A lot of people are like, oh, he might be sounding too controversial. That's the only way to get back on top from this heathen. He's just not going to give it back over to us. It's going to have to be through warfare. A lot of it is psychological warfare, a lot of it. But a lot of it, some of it is going to turn physical. It's just what it is. But a lot of it is psychological warfare. Let's war back with them through education, through morality, through economics, through politics, through spirituality. That's where true warfare is at. War is really a thinking man game. You know what I'm saying? It's a thinking man game, but sometimes thoughts manifest in the physical. We have to be ready for that too.
Chest, baby.
Chest, yeah.
Not chest. All right, let's get out of here.
Jerusalem that way toward the corner. Y'all know how we pray. We pray according to the Bible. Scripture tell you face the land that you was brought from. So we in the west, we face east. We're not Muslims praying toward Mecca. We're not apostate Jews praying toward a Wailing Wall. We simply keeping the scriptures
You feel me? You'll find this in Daniel, the 6th chapter, when Daniel was a slave in Babylon. He faced Jerusalem and prayed at least 3 times a day. 1 Timothy 2:8 instructs us to spread forth our hands when we pray, not clasp them together, spread forth our hands. 1 Corinthians 11, and pursuant to that, men are to uncover their heads when praying and prophesying, and women are to cover their heads when praying and prophesying, dealing with the top of it. You know what I'm saying? So, all praise the glory. Now let's get it done. As we do that, I'm going to go ahead and activate it. Let's get it done.
All right. Yabareka Yahweh Veis Merika Yahweh Pona Elika Vikuneka Yesa Yahweh Pona Elika Be'asem Leka Shalom Be'asem Leka Shalom Yabareka Yahweh Veis Merika Yahweh Pona Elika Vikuneka Yesa Yahweh Pona Elika Be'asem Leka Shalom Be'asem Leka Shalom Amen. Hallelujah.
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 Amen. The Most High shall bless you. The Most High shall keep you. He shall shine his face upon you. He will bless you and he will keep you and he will partake into your peace. Amen.
Amen.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Heavenly Father, Yahweh El Elyon, we come to you in the name of our Adon, the Master, Yahushua Mashiach. We take authority over Satan and all his evil spirits from our position at the right hand of you, Yahweh, seated above every name that is named, in the power and authority of our Adon, Yahushua Mashiach. Use us as your battle axe and weapons of war to come against an attack, to break the back and bind the strong man powerless over every heathen nation that is oppressing the 12 tribes of Israel this very second. We cast them down and we cast them out to a herd of swine in the name and the authority of Yahushua Mashiach. And by his mighty and precious blood we pray. Use us as your battle axe and weapons of war. We loosen all your ministering angels of warfare. Send forth your most militant and elite angelic warriors to break the backs and crack the skulls of every ruler of darkness. To break the backs and crack the skulls of every principality over all the worldwide organizations, the 13 bloodlines of the Illuminati, the Rothschild bloodline, the Astor bloodline, the Bundy bloodline, the Collins bloodline, the DuPont bloodline, the Freeman bloodline, the Kennedy bloodline, the Lee bloodline, the Onassis bloodline, the Rockefeller bloodline, the Russell bloodline, the Van Dunn bloodline, and the Merovingian bloodline, the House of Saud over Saudi Arabia, the House of Windsor, all the popes, Jared Kushner, Henry Kissinger, Robert Gallo, Bill and Melinda Gates, Anthony Fauci, and all their bloodlines. We bind all of them powerless. We bind the strong man over all Masonic orders in every religion, the Catholic Church in Vatican City, communist empires and Yahweh's governments, ISIS, Al-Qaeda, the Taliban, the CIA, MS-13, La Cosa Nostra, the Mafia, Hamas and Boko Haram, every street gang and drug cartel, the Illuminati, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the World Council of Churches, the Americas, every common market nation, Canada and Mexico, every organization that has rituals that are contrary to the word of Yahweh, in the authority, in the name of Yahushua Mashiach. We take authority over all foul and evil spirits, authorities, princes, kings, powers, world rulers, and the highest and mightiest servants of Satan. We bind them to be powerless. We bind them to be powerless in the mighty name of Yahushua Mashiach, Yahweh, in the authority of our Adon Yahushua Mashiach. We pronounce the judgment written in the scriptures upon these evil and greedy conspirators in and over these worldwide organizations, as it is written, Yah. We ask you to bring upon them the judgments found in Psalms 109, that chapter, Psalm 149, that chapter, and Revelation 18, that chapter. Yahweh El Elyon, the owner, the creator, and possessor of all there is, in the name of your eternal, only begotten beloved Son, we bring before your throne all the sick in Israel, all who may be plagued in mind, body, or spirit. Your word says whatever we bind on earth is bound in heaven, and whatever we loose on earth is loose in heaven. We claim authority. We claim authority in Yahushua Mashiach, who is seated at your right hand right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. We loosen all your ministering angels of help. Command them to rain down a healing that is complete, a healing that is understood right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Use us as your battle axe and weapons of war to come against an attack, to break the back and bind the strong man, the demon, the sickness called the coronavirus, and the fear of it, that's plaguing the minds of your people. We declare it powerless. We cast it down and we cast it out to a herd of swine. Use us as your battle axe and weapons of war to come against an attack, to break the back and bind up every sickness and disease that's afflicting your people this very second. We declare them all powerless. We cast them down and we cast them out to a herd of swine in the authority, in the name of Yahushua Mashiach, and by his mighty and precious blood we pray. Yahweh El Elyon, Yahweh Zebaoth, master of the heavenly armies. We loosen all your ministering angels of warfare. Command them to rain down and crack the skulls of the coronavirus and every sickness that is plaguing your people this very second. Command them to establish a protective border around your saints. Command them to come against, confound, and put down every sickness and unclean spirit that is in opposition to the well-being of your people. Command them to render a judgment in our favor right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. Right now. In the name of Yahushua Mashiach, and by his mighty and precious blood, we pray. Yahweh El Elyon, Yahweh Yireh. We loosen your ministering angels of provision and blessings. Command them to shower us with the blessings of Abraham, your friend. Command the blessings of Deuteronomy 28 to chase us down and overtake us. Command Ruach HaKodesh to give us a continual overflow of your spirit. Command the fruits, the gifts, the signs of Ruach HaKodesh to chase us down and overtake us. That wherever the sole of our feet tread, we may boldly declare the kingdom of Yahweh is now. The kingdom of Yahweh is now. The kingdom of Yahweh is now. Accept our petition and accept our prayer. In the name of Yahushua Mashiach, and through his mighty and precious blood, we pray and we declare war on Satan and his entire kingdom. Hallelujah. 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 Praise the mighty Yahweh. Yeah. Real thing is, bust your gun. All praise the Lord.
Hallelujah. I hope this lesson was very edifying to y'all in the body. In the name of Adon Mashiach Yahushua Wabba Adam, in the name of his blood. Shalom, 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 Shabbat, shalom, Alakam, Most High willing, we'll catch y'all later. Shalom, shalom.
Yeah, you pray. You activate them prayers. You did? Go hard.